Athletic, bold, commanding, the Equinox EV helps you show up in style. This show shows up in style with one of our favorite people on the planet, Paul Bissonnette joins the show for almost the entire thing. We jump on at the beginning. We talk where we're at, Ryder Cup, Barstool, Hater, some good stuff. And then Biz jumps on for, like I said, like an hour plus, and he's awesome.
Yeah, he's the best. He's the absolute best. Biz has he has this aura around him that just draws you to him, and you want to hear everything he has to say. He's one of those people and that's why he's been so successful. TNT, that's what they see in him. That's why he's like the voice of hockey, is what I like to call him. He's an amazing conversationalist, and he's so nice, and it's just, it's that whole energy you just want to be around 24/7. So great show. We get into a lot of golf talk. It's just nice to hear from someone outside the golf world, kind of ask those questions also, like what have we been feeling, and to answer to us, like those are that's stuff that we talk about every single day, and it's like nice to be able to go back and answer those things.
All brought to you by Chevy. If it's distance you're after, the Chevy Equinox EV offers 319 miles of EPA estimated electric range with front wheel drive. Leave the drive into Equinox EV. Show up to the course energized with available Super Cruise hands-free driver assistance technology. Equinox EV has a massive 17-inch diagonal center screen, the largest of any EV in its class. When it comes to EVs, Equinox EV is the smartest choice you can make. Let's talk golf.
You're right-hand dominant? Like you throw a ball righty?
I throw a ball right, yeah.
You right-handed?
I right-handed.
Yeah, you're same as me.
And then I'm a righty, right? So, but I shoot left in hockey, so I thought it was that.
Maybe that was probably should have shot righty in hockey.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
You know what I'm saying?
Now you really got me.
Like you got it twisted.
No one's ever said that to me. You're the first person to ever say that to me when I've told that story.
Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports. We are at Great Horse in Hampton, Massachusetts, for the Ryder Cup. If people will recall, it's not the Ryder Cup that you're thinking of, United States of America against Europe, which will be at Bethpage Black in September, which is going to be sick. We got cool merchandise. We've been actually monitoring that entire situation. This is the Barstool Ryder Cup that we did 2 years ago for the first time before Rome, and we are running it back. And it's been a hell of a day. It's hot as fuck up here in this place. I love Boston and the Massachusetts area. I know it's like a heat wave, whatever, across the entire country. I don't know if I've ever been as uncomfortably hot as I've been the last 2 days up here.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously can't get too much into the Ryder Cup stuff in terms of results and teams and all that, but we can get into the weather, and it's hot as fuck. I was telling you guys before we jumped on here, I flew from Florida up to Boston. I left Florida. It was 85 degrees, which Florida in the summer, everybody knows. All the old people leave because they're like, it's too hot. It was 85 when I left. It was 100 degrees when I landed in Boston. It's like, what's happening?
Crazy.
As a guy, you live in the Northeast, Frankie. What's happening?
I mean, this came out of nowhere, and you could just tell everyone's sending messages to each other in the group chats, being like, "This is insane!" Like it's an out of the blue type of week of weather. I mean, even tomorrow we're finishing up the Ryder Cup, and it's going to be like 75 degrees.
Oh, yeah, that's
which is like kind of what it's been. It's been really nice. We've had a nice spring, a nice start to summer. It's been raining a lot in the Northeast, which has been a bummer, but. Dude, weather's just fucking, it's a motherfucker. It really will get you.
Yeah, I'm depleted.
Once you're out there, there's like, especially when you're playing in a golf event like we've been, you're not getting away from it. You're just in it. We said that to each other at one point during the middle of the day. We're like, we're in the heat and there's no getting away from it.
It takes everything from you. Yeah. I sweat more today, I think, than I sweat in my entire life any other individual day.
Great Horse is an amazing location up here. I know that there's like a singular owner that just built this kind of playland.
Frank the Elder.
Frank the Elder?
Yep.
Is that my grandfather?
I believe that's what they call him. Right? Is that right?
That sounds like a Dungeons and Dragons character.
I think he kind of is.
No disrespect. This place is amazing.
So the guy Frank, is a horse racing buddy of Dave's.
Oh, interesting.
Great Horse.
He's a huge horse guy.
Just clicked for me.
Yeah, me too. And I believe that he and Dave have gone to like the London horse race, whatever London's like Kentucky Derby is.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go to London with him?
No, Dave just went with. Can't remember who he went with.
Frank the Elder, I think that's who he went with.
Yeah, must have been.
Yeah, God, what's the name of that thing? The Derby.
It's right in my head.
Derby,
maybe. Yeah,
he wore it right when you said that.
I remember he wore a big hat.
Yeah, Kyle Timms could do something other than look. Kyle Timms looks like
me.
He looks like it's what? Apricot. Yeah.
Squirrely.
Squilly.
Squilly.
Squilly's a Kentucky Derby guy. He lives.
I always think it's
Squilly's
squirrely.
is our intern from Kentucky. Big Valhalla guy and big horse racing guy. So you would definitely know it's called the Apricot.
That is it.
That is it. Kyle Timms looks like a memoji. Like he looks like a cartoon in real life when you look at him, doesn't he?
I just see me.
if
I
you
really
went-
do just
If
see
you went
me.
on ChatGPT and you tried to like draw yourself wearing a golf dad hat, you look like that in real life.
I think
it's a good thing.
they've got, this doesn't give anything away, but they, for this event, they like had pictures of all of us painted
Oh my god.
or made. And, you know, as you would expect, I mean, we're not good looking guys. It's not an easy portrait to do, but
No.
boy, we certainly look interesting.
All of us look horrible. in
Oh,
this.
dude, they made my eyebrows green. I don't know what. I mean, people have been saying things to me to try to get under my skin, and I think a lot of it is warranted. At one point, and I'm not going to give away if he's on my team or not, but Yandel at one point said, like, dude, are you hungover in the morning, right? And this has been happening to me. I've been saying this at Barstool
For
Classics.
years, really.
I'll go up 8:30 in the morning. I get to the first tee. People come up to me. They go, "Whoa! Like, what'd you get into last night?" And I'm thinking to myself, I shut it down at 9 p.m. I went in. I ordered a nice steak. I had I got room service. I watched a movie. I feel great. I feel refreshed. And they're like, "What the hell did you get into last night? You look like shit." And like, I used to start to roll with the punches. I'm like, "Yeah, man, tough one. Just got home. Like, I had 1 hour sleep." This morning, I fucking slept like a rock last night. Right? First kind of night away in a long time after all these like 2-hour feedings and all
I
these
didn't even
things.
think about that.
You get into a quiet room with no baby in it, right? And
Yeah.
for 7 weeks, you've been living with like waking up every 3 hours.
Mhm.
Slept like a rock. First thing Yandel goes up to me, he goes, "Dude, you look like shit." He goes, "Did you go out with the boys last night?" I'm like, "No. It's in your eyes." He goes, "You look horrible." So I said, I think I'm entering like an ugly phase, which is fine. I might be reaching a like face weight that doesn't really nail it for me.
It's starting to fall apart.
There's something about
A
what,
face
and you
weight?
guys are all laughing. There's just something has changed. I don't look like myself anymore. We can move on.
I thought when I saw you, I was in New York City last week or whatever for that thing we were doing, and when I saw you, I thought you looked tired, and I just attributed that to
Something's
you're
going on, yeah.
waking up every 3
Being
hours
a
and feeding the
father.
baby.
Something's going on.
But yeah, something's going on with your face.
It's a weird face weight.
I feel like Rob Riggle in
Yeah.
Step Brothers. I don't know, man. Something's going on with your face.
It's a weird face weight, dude. I'm telling you. I don't know what it is because I fluctuate face weight from year to year. And what it is people are coming over to the house and they're bringing bagels and they're bringing pizza and they're doing all these things. That's what's happening. We want to see the baby, we bring pizza.
Yeah. Yeah.
A month of that goes by and you're like, holy shit. I've eaten pizza and bagels every day.
Is it nice to be away for a couple days?
It is nice. Yeah, it's been fun.
We do got the whole crew. We got Kyle Timms is never out, I feel like, ever. And he's been here.
That was awesome.
That was
I'm
skittish.
excited to be here. You know, I also get to leave the family for a
Yeah,
couple
you got
days.
a full boat.
You know, they're
Yeah.
in the pool just enjoying their days without me.
Mm-hmm. I was saying to Kyle Timms, it was like, it's sad, like leaving the house, especially when you're there all the time, right? And you're like, you're part of this thing, keeping this baby alive. You're doing the whole deal every single second. You're around them. Then you got to go, and you're like, oh shit, like you're missing a couple days. And then I said to him, like, I don't even want to get to the point where they're like upset that you're leaving because he doesn't know that I'm gone. He's just like going from morning till night, pooping, eating, doing the whole thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then Kyle actually said that he's at the point now where his kids are like, have fun at work, Dad. Like, go get them. Like, he's actually like,
Yeah.
they know what's going on. They're like on his
Yeah,
team.
they're rooting for you to
They're
have
rooting
a great
for him.
time.
Paxton, my 5-year-old, he goes, I was like, all right, buddy, I got to go. Give me a big hug. He's like, all right, have fun on your shoot, Dad.
It's awesome.
I was like, this
That's
is awesome.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle Timms, you don't get a lot of road trips out of you, so very happy for you. We got a couple hater videos have come out. I know the most recent one is getting the most. You could tell when things just kind of get the attention.
Oh yeah.
Most recent one with Vinny started with the first tee. I've been kind of teasing this, and I don't want to give away the result because it's only been a day, so if people want to watch, they can watch it. But it started with the very first tee, and we're playing this guy. And again, we've talked about kind of the hater series and how we put all these things together, but I don't really know anything about these people when they show up.
Yeah.
Very little. These guys do the research. They find the right guys. They bring them up. And like I've said before, it's not my favorite activity to like read through negative shit people have said about me. So it's like, I don't really know what they've said. I don't really know what their deal is. Vinny rolled up, and I heard very quickly from Brendan Jones, who, I got there maybe 25 minutes before the tee time or something. Brendan Jones was like, yeah, dude, this guy like cut us off and was like, I need to be done with your interview stuff because I have a very strict 1 hour pre-golf routine. And Brendan Jones texted me this, and I was like, oh boy. And he's like, I think we got like a live one here. It's like, okay. So then I showed up, like I said, 25 minutes before something, introduced myself. He kind of like, he wouldn't even really talk to me. He did a very limpy like handshake thing, and then just in his routine, grinding on every shot on the range. So then we go over to the first tee, and Weekopa, awesome spot. We were actually just there Monday for the Barstool Classic. Amazing spot, probably my favorite public golf course in Arizona. It's such a sick layout. It's great. They did a really good job. They get a casino attached to it, so if you're there with buddies, it's like a great day. So anyways, roll over to Weekopa. We're like the last group off because we're filming. And the purple tees are like 6,600 yards and change, which is what we always play the Barstool Classic at. Pretty good yardage. And it's a hard golf course. It's like rated hard. There's trouble everywhere. Desert golf, the whole deal. So I was just like, hey, Vinny, we're playing the purples. And then as people saw from that clip, we got a couple minutes of just pretty much screaming at each other back and forth about which tees you play. And now this has sparked a massive debate, as I've noticed, between people being like, who should be playing the tips and who shouldn't. We've long kind of talked about on this podcast of, I think, tee it forward more often than not.
Yeah. I
but
mean,
it's got the people going.
Yeah, this guy was using it as like a strategy. Like he was strategically trying to get you to go as far back as possible, but he wasn't realizing how like stupid he was coming off, because that's just not the right tees for. He kept saying like, you're a 4, I'm a 5. We should be playing from back here. Whatever he was saying, like that's not where you're supposed to be. Literally not what those tees are made for.
Yeah, I don't hate occasionally going back and playing the tips on golf courses. It could be a fun challenge, whatever. But I do think that people think, oh, I hit the ball pretty far and I can shoot some decent scores sometimes. I should play the farthest back tees. And that's like not the case. I think that there's been a lot of stuff that's come out about like, unless you're like breaking par from, certain tees, it's very rare that you should be going back and playing the tips. And it's like, no, if you can hit it this far, now that you're like, do you not realize like if you take the pros to like 7,500 yards, they're still hitting like wedges and 7 irons at most into like a lot of the par 4s.
Yeah.
Or almost all of the par 4s. So it's like if you're not playing a tees where like, it's what I'm saying is like, it's not like you're playing a course way too short if you're hitting drivers and having short irons in a lot of the time. It's like, yeah, no shit. That's like what tours, are you scoring well or not? Because if you're not like a plus golfer, which kind of I was saying to him, you very rarely should be going back and playing the tips on a golf course, especially with like pretty legitimate rating and slope and all that. So anyways, that was how the whole goddamn thing started, the match.
I was going to say, all I'm hearing is this is the perfect guy to be in this video. Like when you started doing these, right, when you started doing these videos and like the idea was like, what do you want to do? We always had said like, we want them to be assholes when they get there. And we want them to be sort of who they are, who they represent themselves as on the internet, which is hard to get. And I'm sure you've come across a mixed bag of people like that, where it's like some guys are assholes, some guys aren't. But this guy, it seems like, and I haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet, but some guys, and this guy seems to fit in this category, are like over the top and really seem to be who they are as they represent themselves on the internet. And that's a chef's kiss for the video.
It is. And it's, I saw one person message me or tweet or whatever. It was like, of course, they're like finding the most unlikable people to come on these. And I'm like, no, you understand? We're finding people that are online trolls, hating trolls. Like, what do you think they're going to be like? You think they're going to come?
Not exactly picking out of the Rhodes Scholars. It's not the best group of guys.
Correct. It's like, no, what did you expect? This is exactly what kind of like our whole point has been along the way of how annoying but also how much you got to remind yourself that this is probably the type of folk, whatever, that's behind these random comments on the internet. I'm like, in order to, and this was another, he and I, during the match, not to give it away, the results not giving it away, but during the match we got into 2 more altercations throughout the match where we disagreed. And one of them was about that exactly, where I was like, I was getting into it with him. I was like, do you understand from my vantage point, like how ridiculous it is for you to be unsolicitedly like leaving mean comments and mean messages to a total stranger about whatever, and in this case, their golf game. And he was like, well, when you put your stuff online, you open yourself. I said, I completely agree with that. Like, you open yourself up to people leaving feedback and replying and reacting, engaging with stuff. But there's like a line, in my opinion, of when you go to just maliciously attacking someone on stuff that is, in this case, so like meaningless as like golf. I was like, that to me comes off as pretty like psychopathic. And so then when we bring these types of people on to the comments, just to the people, even the most recent ones, it's like, how could you be surprised that these people are going to come on and be like, in a lot of ways, a little off and like not likable in a lot of ways? It's like, well, no shit. They're like, look at what they're fucking doing. This is what they're doing.
This is who they are. And this is we all assume it. Like you see these messages, you see a lot of these people, and sometimes we'll click on the icon and see like what their picture looks like, and you're like, how is that guy that has a photo with his whole family writing these things? The weirdest thing. Like, where are you going to write that? Like, you got to physically remove yourself from wherever you are to go write that comment. You can't do that in public. You can't be sitting on the couch writing things like that we get. You know what I mean? That's gotta be close the door, really think this out.
Family picture, Christ follower. Let's roll.
Yeah, exactly.
It's time.
Dude,
it's time for me to talk some shit to somebody on the
guy. Holy shit.
It was very funny because the guy, Andy, that was from last week's Hater episode where we both played actually very well. He was actually pretty chill in person and whatnot. And he was texting me and Brendan on the side because we got his number and whatnot. And I don't think I'm going to give away anything here with my guy, Andy. I don't think he would mind at all. Because, again, it was like pretty normal, cordial interaction the entire day. We're both playing pretty good golf. He was like kind of like fun guy to like rib with a little bit, whatever. And he said, he's like, yeah, my wife was a little upset at me when the video came out. She was like, what are you sending these messages? What is going on? Why are you sending these messages to this stranger online? It was very funny.
Yeah, true. For a lot of them, it's probably a secret life.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, so I had to answer for that a little bit. But he was cool. He was like open with us. And, you know, part of me, I'm a little torn when these do come out. Like, there's times with the one that was 3 episodes ago, or Kyle from Philly, where it's like he's getting a ton of shit for his golf game, for people just like personality-wise. And in some weird, twisted way, I start to feel bad for them. Because it's like they come on here and then they're not, I don't know, built for this. They're not used to this, whatever. They're just normal people living a normal life. And then all of a sudden, like, people are just being ferocious to them. And I see a ton of tweets and a ton of, and you just, at some level, it's like on a human level, they're getting what we occasionally get. I get a lot. And you feel like that's not fun no matter who you are.
Well, in an interesting way, and almost an ironic way, you're giving them a little taste of their own medicine. They're like, oh, this is what Riggs feels like when I fucking berate him for months.
Yeah.
No, definitely. But you know what I'm saying?
Of course. Because, yeah, I mean, I don't like when it happens to any of us, obviously. Yeah. So, like, there's part of you that feels bad for anybody who gets it. But in this particular case, this guy has obviously been an asshole. And it's like, you're almost like, you know, letting them see what it's like.
It also just shows, too, like, the numbers that they throw out, the handicaps. Like, the funny, like, golf is just really hard when it comes to a match on camera. Things just go awry. They're just like, you don't know what's going to happen. You have no idea where that ball's going to go. It's not you playing against your buddy at your home club. It's not you on your Thursday night 9-hole league. This is so much different. It's something that you're not used to. You have jitters. Your heart is in your throat. Things are just happening. So, you know, every comment too, it seems to be like, well, this guy's lying. Also, it's like all these people think everyone's lying about handicaps. It's you bring it on this guy. Well, this guy's lying, and that's why you beat him. It's like, no, it's just like people have handicaps, and they come on, and then they just play worse than what their number shows, and because golf's really hard, and it's even harder on camera. So I think the series is doing great for a lot of reasons. It's putting people in their place. It's also like exposing the truth behind like who these people are, and then it's showing that the game is really hard. And when you bring people that think that you're lying and that you're like not living up to your potential, come on, they end up playing not to their potential. It ends up shutting them up. And the people watching.
It's crushing.
Yeah.
Crushing.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that. And I do think that's a lot of what it comes down to, is what you're saying, where it's like, you also, handicap police, we've battled this forever.
Legit, when I first started the podcast, I came up with, I think we started saying the handicap police. That's like where that term came up like 6 years ago. When I was like just jumping on the podcast with you guys, like as like a fill-in.
Yeah.
That's how long we've been dealing with this shit.
For sure. But there is an element of it that it's only seemingly when you get pretty good. Because I take way less of it than you guys do.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm right.
Yeah.
I'm like a 15. So I'm like, for whatever reason, they think when you're getting really good, that's when you start to lie. They
Well,
don't think I'm lying. They think
Vanity
you guys are
index,
lying.
Vanity index is the thing that people think that like we want to achieve. I don't know where anyone thought that that's what we've ever wanted to achieve, is like to show
Right.
off that we are good. It's almost like we have like the bigger that we've gotten as a brand, and as Barstool's gotten bigger and as Foreplay's gotten bigger, it's almost like people forget like where this thing even started. It was we were the bad golfers. So like the fact that we've
Still
gotten
are, in a lot of
better,
ways.
yeah, but the fact that we've gotten better is something that like we actually are proud of and enjoy to do. We like to play well, but we're not really like going out and saying that we're good. I don't know that we've ever came out and said that we are really good golfers. We just say what our numbers are because that's what we put in our freaking gin apps. But yeah, no, it's a never ending. You're never gonna win the battle, but this series is like you're never gonna win the war, but you're able to win some battles because like,
Yeah.
you won a battle today. Got 200,000 views in like 8 hours. I mean, the thing's crushing. People are loving it, and yeah, I think it's great. I think it's a great series.
No, that is a good way to put it. You'll never win the war. And you realize that when all this, like, even as good as it can feel, there's can be satisfying moments. You can have good rounds out there. The war is going to be ongoing.
Well, the
forever.
war is like then you drop a Nagasaki bomb, which was Oakmont, right? So it's like
Right,
you have
right.
you shoot the 70. What'd you shoot in the other 2 weeks ago?
75.
Shoot 75 and a 106 within 1 week of putting videos out.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's just why it's never going to end, because people don't understand. They don't see everything. They're not tracking you as much as they say they are. They're just watching like here and there, and they see this and they see that and they see the clips, and they're like, "Fuck you, you aren't that."
And to your point earlier too, which is funny, is like there's zero benefit in the world to us saying that we're lower than we are.
Right.
It would all be strategically and monetarily detrimental to us.
Correct.
Like that would be
Something
I
I
would-
do not understand.
I would
yeah.
love more than anything in the world to have just been a 10 handicap the whole
Right.
time and be able to just say I'm a 10 handicap.
Right.
Do you know if I went to a member guest and played as a 10 handicap,
We have
how ridiculed I would get?
100%. We just got the biggest guest on our podcast in
Shut up.
months.
We're not doing that.
What are you talking about?
Shut up.
Fucking Paul Bissonnette has joined the show.
What were you guys talking about?
We're talking. Well, he just put out a new series, the Hater series, where he plays against an internet troll.
I thought that was been going for a little bit now.
Well, we
Yeah,
put up a
we
new
just-
episode today, and it's crushing. So we're just talking about like what that series does to the psyche of like golf viewership. It like kind of levels people out, and you get to see like who these people actually are and all that.
Oh,
stuff.
like whether they're bringing the same energy as they were online
Kind
to
of,
in
yeah.
real
Yeah.
life.
That's
Yeah.
definitely part of
I
it.
would assume that the drop off is a lot.
The reason people were loving this video is because the drop off wasn't.
And I was coming at you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. How'd it go?
Great. And we don't want to give away the result of the video.
Okay. All right.
But it went great in terms of like it delivered for all of the clips. And I would say like we were talking, and a lot of people are being like, this guy's the biggest douche yet. But I want to give Vinny a little bit of credit because it is, at least he's stuck to his guns.
fucking right.
Right.
Yeah, that's all. And you know the video is going to be electric.
Correct.
And maybe he becomes a golf figure and your arch nemesis, and like who no fucking know. It's the content game, right?
That
Not
would
an
be
easy
great.
thing.
Vinny
Yeah.
rematch?
That would be great.
It's not an
Yeah,
easy thing
kinda.
to go out and be known as an internet troll. They're signing up to be in a headline and on a video for 1 million people to go watch and be like, "This guy's an internet troll." That's a tough paper to sign and be like, "Yeah, I'm in on that."
Did his skills match his mouth?
No.
Oh, okay. Like I will say, Riggs, I was blown away by like, you read online, people are coming at you. I'm like, oh, maybe this guy's like a 10 or 12. We played together. I was blown away at how good you were. I was blown away about how shit-faced you got. Yeah, I'm like, this guy can't really stand. And like he's about to tip over, and then you would line up to your ball, and then you would stripe another one. I'm like, this guy is indestructible. You were the indestructible drunk golfer.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
My buddies during that, when that came out, I must have gotten 20 different texts from buddies with screenshots being like, I have seen this guy before and I've seen that shot before. It's just because like on trips, you just start in the early.
You get to
whatever.
that area, right?
Yeah,
and
we were
the
talking
only
about
thing
it.
that shut you down was the light, like the light in the sky.
Light killed me.
The sun went down.
I was going and then I was dropping with the sun. No, I think it is funny to see the difference between people's online and in real life. Most of them, it's pretty stark, and they don't bring the same energy at all.
That's awesome that you got a good one.
But it is like, yeah, we got a really good one, Vinny. This episode is brought to you by Body Armor Sports Drink. This summer, cool off with Body Armor Chill, a bold, new way to hydrate with no artificial dyes, flavors, or sweeteners. Look, we talk on this show, as people have heard already or about to hear, about how hot it is.
Mm-hmm.
Humid.
Yep.
Hot.
Yep.
Brutal. You're just sweating all over the place. Luckily, we have had body armor this entire time. I cannot tell you how many of these things I've gone through, and they just hit the spot every single time.
It's legitimately life-changing.
I think I drank 20 bottles of body armor water today.
Yeah, no, we needed it. And it honestly, with all the electrolytes and everything that it has in it, it's much needed. A really, really big pick-me-up out there on the golf course, especially with how intense and how hot everything is. So body armor, the fact that that's a huge partner of ours, to have that, to have a water partner and a sports drink partner out there in 100-degree heat,
Massive.
we're doing something right.
As good as it gets.
Yeah.
Enjoy a new, refreshing, cooling sensation in 3 impossibly cold flavors: frozen berry, frozen cherry, and frozen orange. Available for a limited time. Grab yours at 7-Eleven or at a store near you. That is Body Armor Chill. Pro golfers drive for show and they putt for dough. The easiest way for you to make some dough: betting on this week's tournament at DraftKings Sportsbook. From the opening round through the championship Sunday, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with live betting, player props, and so much more. If you've never been betting on golf before, it's easier than you think. You just pick something simple like a golfer to win the tournament and make your pick. We got the Rocket, the old, what is it, Detroit this week, right? For the Rocket.
Yeah.
I think, I think Bryson back in his day, this is a Donald Ross course, won up there, so it feels like you can just bomb the thing around, wedge it close.
Did his win here?
I think he played well there once.
Okay.
I don't know if he won there. You know the Donald Ross course he won at was the Wyndham Championship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
When he was in that playoff.
Yeah.
When I had to root for Europe.
Yeah, DraftKings is great, especially at this time of the year. That baseball is hitting its peak at this point. Everything else is dying down. Basketball's over. Hockey is over. This is baseball's time. So make sure you're on DraftKings for that with all those live bets. I love hammering the guys that are down. Like you'll get them on the money line if you're down early in a baseball game. Love jumping on that. And then,
nice.
with golf, they have winners without. You can do like a winner without Rory McIlroy or Scotty Scheffler. They'll always have those options too, so you can kind of bet guys in the field. And it's just a great time right now. It's the middle of the summer, about to get into the Open Championship. Cannot wait.
Here's something special for first-timers, by the way. New DraftKings customers bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the code FORE. That is code FORE for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
And all you guys have kind of created your own series. Like I was gonna congratulate you on the birth of your first child too on the pod. That's like that's a big game changer.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it is a game changer.
Is that the first baby on the pod?
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's an honor.
Yeah.
Brendan, our producer.
Oh yeah.
had
No, he was the first baby.
He
A
had
couple months before.
all right.
baby
Okay.
a couple months before.
Okay, that's why the golf dad. There you go. You guys expand the merch now. There we go. Just keep the moneymaker going.
Right
baby.
when we
Yeah.
got the positive, like the pregnancy thing, when she peed on the stick, immediately I was like, golf dad. I sent it right to the merch team.
That
This
is
is our new
fucking
thing.
unreal.
Has to be.
Just commercializing his baby.
commercializing
immediately.
Do you
Yeah.
feel any different? Like
Well, I was just saying, I think I'm getting uglier. I don't know what's going on. The last 6 weeks, I haven't like gotten something going.
what about the
with me.
dad strength? They say you get this extra little strength because you're even more of a
No,
protector now.
Look at me.
It
Oh.
comes from within. You know, it's not really something
You're
you
touching
see.
the gut. You see, it's bad. It's not good. No, it's been fun, man. I mean, listen, the thing that gets me with this place, and I've been talking a lot about it, but is like I started here when I was 22 years old as a fucking like piece of shit kid that knew nothing, right? And then like you go and you somehow get Dave Portnoy as your boss, and I was attached to the hip of him, and he's like one of the most successful American like business stories of of our lifetime. And lucky enough, I was like a part of his story. And now like I've been here for enough to now have like a house, a family. I have a kid now. So you look back, like this has been my whole life. It feels like, even though Borelli's and everything felt like an eternity because that was everything that I knew. This is like all I remember now. That's how crazy this is. So
and
to
the
be-
pictures with the boys before you joined Barstool, like I think you
Yeah.
had one with Hazy and stuff,
Yes.
when you were serving them at the
yeah, when
restaurant.
I was serving them. That was
Yeah.
a year before I started here.
That's crazy.
But yeah, no, it's crazy. It's just to like look back and just realize that like I'm actually growing up at this company. That's the part that like gets me like kind of weirded out and freaked out. And it's like a scary world because we're in the content business, and now I've got like a kid. It's like I don't know. It's just you're going through a lot of different changes in your head and your mind. So yeah, it's a lot to deal with. Yeah.
How did you get with Barstool?
Me?
And by the way, you grind on the course. I feel like we're so similar.
Oh, yeah.
That match this morning, like that with the competitive juices were going.
Yeah.
That was you're my match.
I love being out there with you.
Oh,
it's,
buddy.
It's good vibes, and the golf's not great, but it's still, we have a good time.
Yeah, the rapport is good, and we always like know each other's struggles. And
Yeah.
we're like, I feel you. Even though we're competing, I feel you, man. I feel you. That was a tough 8.
No, we had fun out there. My story is just I basically started my own blog when I was living in Iowa, long time ago now. I've been at the company 11 and a half years. And I just started a blog just like Barstool. I started selling shirts locally that were Iowa sports basically adjacent, and they were gonna sue me because I was making money and I was making good shirts. And I actually emailed just a general Barstool email at that point, and Dave somehow got a hold of it, and he was like, I think you probably got to shut the shirt down because you got no money and no lawyers, but we like the blog if you want to jump on with us.
No
So,
shit.
I mean, that was early. That was pre-churning days. That was when it was really, it was just Dave, and there was no big money backing.
How
So we
into
were all
like
said
Barstool
this-
were you at the time?
what's that?
How into like reading Barstool
Very
were you?
into it.
Yeah,
Very,
There
Yeah,
was
so-
Barstool, New York, and Boston at that point, right?
Philly was around, but I was employee number 12. So, but
Wow,
it was really like before,
That's crazy.
like Dave. I mean,
We
Dave.
were like 2 away from equity or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
Damn
close.
it.
talk to the Nate
Missed the
dog
A
about
round,
that.
eh? Fuck.
Yeah, just missed it. No, but it was
Talk to the
like,
Nate dog.
but like, yeah. I mean, it was.
What was
I mean,
Nate? What was Nate?
Nate was 10.
Oh my God.
God.
No fucking the
Pretty much
Capitals
gotta be-
fan, Barstool
Yeah,
Nate.
yeah.
Oh
10
my
or,
God.
10 or so. I can't remember exactly.
That
But
sounds
that
right
was-
because I do think DMV was right before you.
Yeah,
Oh
he
my
got
God.
hired 3 months before I did. So
So
Yeah.
you cold emailed him, and that's kind of how you got your job
yeah.
there.
Me and Trent's getting hired was pretty similar.
yeah,
Just with him kind
Is
of.
that a common thing? Just cold emailing people?
I think back 10 years ago, it probably
Yeah.
was.
well, the
Yeah.
difference between us, and not to expose you, you've told the story before, but you emailed a lot,
Oh, dude.
and I.
He said he was trying like 8 different ones in the CC.
I was guessing what his email address was. I had no idea. And
Yeah, I sent one. I just sent one to the Barstool. The only smart thing I think that I did was in the subject line, I put T-shirt question. And that was back when, I mean,
Smart.
merch
merch.
is still super important. But
Yeah.
like back then it was like, and I would think that would maybe hit in his mind where he was like, all right, this person, they got
That's
fucked over by
insane.
Welker or something. And
Yeah.
like, all right, he's going to check it. And he did check it. But
like the customer service part of him.
yeah, because dude, back then, and it's a little similar because he owns the whole thing and he runs everything. But back then, he was running everything.
Yeah, mom
he
and
was
pop.
looking at emails.
Mhm.
He was all. I think when he got my email, he was in Turks and Caicos, but he was still checking
Wow.
everything and like
Literally,
it was
his
just
dad was like his lawyer for the company. It was like the company counsel was his dad,
Oh,
Mike
fuck.
Portnoy Esquire. I know.
I'd like to be on some of those Zoom calls. And
Oh,
and
man.
someone else. Oh, just body bagging guys.
The best.
Oh,
What was your sort of introduction to Barstool? Because I know I'm the least knowledgeable guy about
Dude,
hockey
Biz,
on
I
this
started
podcast.
reading and following Biz's tweets in probably 2011 or something.
yeah. So I was
when you would
probably-
roast people, right?
Yeah, I would just go at people, and I was a player. So, normally, like hockey players, they wouldn't never do that online. And if I was with probably any other organization other than Arizona, they would have been like, absolutely not,
Yeah.
shut down your Twitter. I was like, telling them, like, go ass, suck my cock, like the craziest shit, like shit that, like, yeah, sometimes I go off the rails a little bit and kind of go back to my old ways, but like nothing
Yeah.
remotely close to what I was saying. So it kind of just grew very quickly, like to where like I was a plug. I think me and Ovechkin were the first hockey guys to hit 1 million. We're talking
Yeah.
about the greatest goal scorer of all time from the,
Weren't
the
you one of
nation
the first
of
like
Russia.
athletes at that point to have 1 million? I remember that
Yeah.
getting tossed around. Like you were the first guy to really go all in on Twitter.
Because I was just, I would get home from the gym and I'd be on my couch resting after training. And instead of throwing the TV on, I'd be just like going at it with fans and stuff. I kind of just became like, I guess you could say partly addicted to it. But I always remember before I hopped on, and it was one of my teammates, Scotty Upshaw,
Yeah.
a guy who
Yeah.
I had some fun times with. He does the Missing Curfew podcast now with Shane O'Brien. Schmaltz, who messaged you, he wants to go golf with you.
Amazing. Do it.
But where was I? Oh, and he was like, Biz, you got to get on this. You got to get on this Twitter. And I'm like, what do you do on Twitter? And I remember Charles Barkley was very critical. Like, I ain't going on Twitter, stupid Twitter. What the hell you even doing? Like he was saying it on TV. So I'm like, well, if Chuck says it ain't cool, I ain't doing it. And then sure enough, I just finally, Scotty was persistent enough, and I'm like, one day on the couch after workout, fired it up, and it just kind of slowly grew from there. And like I said, it was throughout the course of like 3-4 years, it grew to what it grew to.
But which is incredible because, no disrespect, but like you take games played to followers, it made no sense.
It made no sense. It made
like
no sense.
It's not like anyone was following you for any sort of reason other than you just being funny and entertaining.
Yeah,
it wasn't even like the hockey, really.
So for the people who know nothing about my career who are listening, like in the NHL, I wasn't really. I don't think I would have been good enough as a defenseman to ever make it. So they switched me to forward. I grew up playing defense. So when they switched me to forward on the fourth line, like you have to do something to separate yourself other than just play limited minutes. So I started fighting. So when I got to the NHL, I was more healthy scratches than games played. So I played 202 games. Probably was a healthy scratch.
More than I thought, to be honest.
Yeah,
a lot of games.
And I was probably a healthy scratch 250 games. So I was in the press box eating popcorn, but whatever. But yeah, like I played 2, 3, 4 minutes, and I was a complete plug, as a grocery stick, as people would call it.
It's a million followers.
That the fact that
it made no sense.
And then it kind of slowly got me into the content game where Sportsnet would be like, hey, can we like hire you and pay you whatever, 10 grand to come film some stuff? And so I started kind of evolving from Twitter to just getting opportunities in front of the camera. And I took them. And as like maybe as bad as it was and as bad as I was on camera then, it was just getting reps where at the time I wasn't thinking anything of it. And then getting in with Barstool was when I finally ended up joining the pod, and I'd filmed a project right after I retired. And because I was like, I have my whole summer, like, what am I going to do?
Is that the Vancouver one?
The Vancouver one. It was like, it was silly. It was like ridiculous. We were, doing guerrilla style logistics. Like it was crazy.
Yeah.
But I did it with my friend Pasha, and that grew our relationship, and he works for us. He does the sandbaggers and stuff. So it kind of really evolved right after I retired, because of everything I'd done while I played, and just diving kind of right in. And through that project, Barstool kind of was like, hey, we'll refund you for what you paid for it. Join the podcast, launch it all at once. And then like you guys, like the rest is history. And at that time, you were obviously an employee. I'm sure you were. And you guys were in the New York office where I think it was half full at the time.
Yeah. That little one.
Kyle Timms just said he wishes he worked at Barstool during that time.
Yeah.
It felt like a culture.
It did. You knew everybody.
That little office was the coolest culture we had. And before it expanded to 2 different floors, we were only filling out, half of that one floor. And we had like the business side on this side, and then all the content folks. And when you would come off the elevator, you would be like in the middle of the content.
Yeah.
Right, where you come off the elevator.
You couldn't avoid it.
No, you couldn't.
It was like the mystery elevator. Who was going to walk out?
Yeah.
Oh,
it would ding. Somebody would pop out. It could be any. It could be A-Rod. It could be Biz. It could be fucking anybody.
Remember when Soulja Boy came out?
Oh yeah, he goes, Soulja Boy in the building.
No one knew he was coming. All of a sudden, we just hear Soulja Boy in the building.
No, fuck.
I turned around and he walked in with a Soulja Boy like Wii or something like that.
Okay,
What
a character.
It was the day he had done
shit.
the Breakfast Club, and it was and he had done the Drake. That's the meme now. That was the same day. He's wearing that gold outfit.
Was he actually one of the OGs for doing the YouTube and growing it out? Okay,
he claims so, but I mean,
you never know with these guys.
No,
right?
no, you never know.
No,
I never know. I think he probably
Jared's
inflated
saying,
it a little bit, but
okay, so he's overhyping it. Okay,
we did a pizza review with Soulja Boy that day, and we all took separate cars, right? So I remember it like vividly. We get to this pizza place. It's a corner pizza place in New York City. Dave goes in and orders the pie. Soulja Boy rolls up in a fucking Escalade, blacked out.
Smoke coming out.
Wouldn't come out of the Escalade. Music's blaring inside. You hear boom, 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 boom. And Dave's standing outside with the pizza. And he goes, Soulja Boy's not coming out of the car.
No, he like rolled down the window or nothing?
Nothing. We're staring. He went, 25 minutes went by. Pizza's ice cold. Dave goes, I'm just going to start eating.
Did he go knock or nothing?
Soulja Boy, I believe, ended up coming out at the end. Dave's like, the pizza's ice cold. You can have a slice. But it's like Soulja Boy does what Soulja Boy wants to do.
Oh, yeah. Those guys are on their own fucking time, eh?
It was crazy.
But going back to what I was saying, though, like you become an unreal golfer. So congrats on all the series you've expanded with and growing foreplay to what it is. Like I know once I retired to be able to do something like this and kind of drive your own bus and do something you wake up and you're passionate about, it's like it's a blessing, and it's great to have you as a part of the Barstool family, and congrats to everything you guys have done. No, serious.
Nice.
Like it's
overwhelmingly nice.
Like the moment that when you guys went to that last tournament and you shanked it in the water 16th. Like, what happened? What's that story?
They do this Creator Classic where they let creators, the PGA Tour had started doing this they see the success of all of the creators, all
Right. Oh,
our entire world with Bob and Good and all
I
that.
think it's way better than what the PGA has to offer. It's so much more personable.
Some of the stuff, from an entertainment standpoint.
Yeah.
I mean, you're seeing guys like Bryson and like the Bryan brothers. They're doing
figuring it out.
Like, they're figuring out that they actually get more fans doing the YouTube stuff than they do just playing in the tournament.
Okay, sorry to interrupt.
No, it's fine. So the Wednesday before the Players Championship, they let a bunch of creators play the back nine at TBC Sawgrass, and the thing is like pretty much everyone else that they invited was pretty good. Okay. So they,
oh fuck, dude.
So like it's so hard because you're playing from the tips. There's all these forced carries and like
At least the 16th at the Arizona, like it's not water.
There's no water.
You can at least like skull fuck it and it might get there.
So you play the back nine of this really hard golf course the day before the actual pros are going to play it. I got Frankie on my bag. We're playing the back nine, and it's just sort of it's going okay, but we know 17 is coming, which is the Island Green, and obviously we went into it like, well, we want to hit it onto the green in one, and certainly hit a hole in one like that. That's the number one goal.
He swung and missed on 16.
I swung it. Oh well, yeah, I took the biggest.
You could make a living off of that, hitting that hole in one.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like you get first one, like you like. No
oh my
offense.
gosh, no, we
That'd
we
like
would have
legal.
jumped in the water. It would have been incredible.
We would have been eaten by alligators. Jumping
Instead,
in the water.
I did the opposite thing and I hit 5 balls in the water.
Okay, all right.
But it ended up working out because there was a gallery there, and people were into it. Like they were clapping, they're cheering you on.
I saw the vids. I just didn't know what, how is this guy playing in a
and it's like
tournament?
if it were dead and people were just kind of like, let's get this guy off the tee box, it would have been a different environment. But then I finally, on the 6th attempt, I got onto the green, place went fucking crazy,
made a par off that ball.
I made a par off that ball,
Yeah,
and that ended up being one of the big takeaways from that event, which is sort of it's been our point for the longest time, where if you have good golfers and they play good golf, it's not that interesting. It's just like, all right, I'm going to make a par and I'm going to move on to the next hole.
Right.
You take me out there and I'm going to fuck a bunch of shit up.
Right.
And it's going to be crazy and wild and you don't know what's going to happen.
More relatable.
It's more relatable and it's more fun. And that was really, outside of the Fat Perez putt, like him and I had the two biggest moments of that whole thing.
Oh,
so,
yeah. It was your Tin Cup moment, right?
Yeah. Right.
The movie?
Yeah.
Tin
So
Cup.
also you got the
What a
PGA
movie.
Tour putting out graphics of like that we're used to watching when like Tiger Woods is talked about or Bryson DeChambeau or Rory McIlroy. Like we see all these graphics from the players of like they'll put out, the ball tracing going from the green to the tee, and all of a sudden, or the tee to the green, and then you see Trent's graphic from the PGA Tour of 6 balls going in the water, and they're all in on it. Like that to me was the most bizarre thing.
So from even a visual standpoint,
all of it, being
same graphic, same colors, same everything as like a Tiger Woods did something amazing, and this is what Trent Ryan did. Same with the scorecard. They put
so
up like
would they
61.
ever do maybe a small version of LIV where you do 8 different events and you guys all control it? Like what's the? I know we got the internet invitational coming, but and that's probably like a Kickstarter to that.
They're kind of doing a version of internet invitational meets like what Trent was playing in Sawgrass, where they're trying to kind of get it going. But the interesting, like, it's a little bit of a tricky spot for them because they're not in the world, and so they're kind of leveraging like what the PGA Tour is and has to try to like piggyback off of what groups like us or Bob or Good have built, and it's just kind of a little bit of a disconnect. And it's the tour, so it's like you can't be as open and free and say the shit that you can say in our videos because it's like on TV. PGA Tour,
right?
It's like probably what you deal with TNT a little bit.
I was going to ask you that. Do you deal with that? Do you find that you have to sort of?
I'm trying to figure out the line. Sometimes it's hard. Like I dropped an F-bomb this year, I think in playoffs. I think I said boot fucked because I mentioned the Irish Traveler thing. But like I've been called in probably I would say half a dozen times. Where especially early on because I was trying to find that balance too.
Yeah, because you're trying to be you. You're trying to be entertaining.
Yeah, and honestly, like just from growing up in a locker room, like I say fuck a lot and we swear a lot and we like really ball bust and we bring it offside because you're trying to, like I grew up in a locker room where times were maybe a little bit different, right? So the jokes were a little different and we've all kind of evolved, right? So yeah, it's been fun though. It's been such an unreal experience and like working with Liam, he's such a pro. Anson, like fucking Wayne, like that's pretty, you've golfed with him.
Yeah, I play golf with Wayne. We were talking about he's the best. But I was gonna ask you, like, it's because you were telling your whole story, dude, and it's like
Hank,
you're this.
All the boys.
Well, you're out there, and like you said, 10 years ago, and like your career, and you're evolving to be a fighter, which is hilarious, where you're like, I'm gonna literally fight for my fucking career
Yeah.
to like stay in the NHL. And now you're like making Wayne Gretzky want to do TV. That's how good you are at it.
Yeah. I think he's unreal at it too. He's so knowledgeable. Like his memory of the game and his ability to like tell stories and stuff like that. So it's so much easier when he's on, because you can just throw him softballs. Like, hey, like you're talking about a team winning a Stanley Cup and being in this type of moment. Like, you can't lean on Biz on the panel, right? Like, when we're talking power play half wall, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about. So to just be like, Wayne, what do you do in this situation when you're trying to close out for a Stanley Cup victory or try to repeat and go back to back? So it's been a whirlwind. But yeah, TNT, they just do such a good job even behind the scenes to set you up for success.
Yeah.
And they've just made it a little bit looser where it's not as structured. And I think it's just really hit with the American audience. And Anson did TV I think he's been doing TV for like 12, 15 years.
Yeah, he was NHL Network. He still is.
Yeah. So he's gotten his feet wet and he's a veteran now. So even like when we're leaning on like political stuff too, like sometimes I'm like, I can't even I can't speak on that. Like Ace is a boss, and he'll like attack it right on and nail it. And you're like, oh, Ace, thank you so much. Hank, like just the suits he wears, and like I would assume like a lot of female hockey fans are very thankful they get to look at Henrik Lundqvist talk about goalkeeping and looking at the guy. So
no cup.
They've done I know he's Joe Thornton.
Joe Thornton never won
Iginla, and right now I would say Connor McDavid and Leon.
There's another goalie that, aside from Lundqvist, I feel like that
hasn't won a cup.
Roberto Luongo.
Luongo. I mean, he's won one now as like
he's won back to back as like an assistant manager,
but he should have won one.
I know. I feel like he's at peace with it, helping in management win one. But yeah, you always want to win one as a player.
So I always like in the beginning of Barstool, I would always get in these debates like with Glenny Balls and all the Rangers fans. I'm obviously a huge Islander fan, so I'd always say like Henrik Lundqvist is not even the best goalie of his generation. A guy like Corey Crawford won a couple cups. Like how do you guys in the league like value like cups, especially in like a goaltending position?
I think he went to 2 finals, and he just like his numbers are ridiculous. I even think the year that they lost, I think it was like, not to blame his teammates, but I think it was lack of goal support.
And they also lost in like double OT
they lost,
a lot. Yeah,
two double overtime games in that, and so it was a lot closer than people remember. And just his sustained level of excellence for a period of time where like low goals against, high save percentage for those times, and then doing it in New York. And he's also giving you 60 starts, maybe closer to maybe 70, because it was different then. And he was a competitor where he's like, I want the fucking net
every night.
I'm not giving up my net. So I feel like those breed were just a little bit more tapped, especially from a mental component. And like I said, playing in New York, won Olympic gold as the Swedish starting goaltender. So he's easily a Hall of Famer, and just one of those guys that you couldn't say you're not getting the Hall of Fame because you never won your cup. And luckily, I was actually there when he won his Vezina. I just so happened, like, I was buddies with Claude Giroux, and he's like, hey, I'm going to they give me a date for the All-Star game, and I don't have a girlfriend, so would you want to go? And I'm like, fucking rights, I'll go. So I got a seat at the awards. I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. I think it was after my first or second year in the show, so like, I was taking that opportunity to go to Vegas like that. And sure enough, that night Henrik Lundqvist won his Vezina, and we all ended up that night celebrating it.
Oh, nice.
So
Biz jumps up. He's like, woo!
I just got caught in this unreal tornado where I'm like, oh yeah, hanging out with the league's best and Hank. So it was cool. Yeah, he's such a G. So we got a great team there, and that's a testament to TNT, the people behind the scenes, like everybody, down to the people who work the cameras, like the runners, and the group who put all the individuals together, because it's like a family, it's a team.
Liam McHugh's got a cool story.
Yeah, he was a soccer player in college. And talk about a motor on a guy, like his jokes and like never missing what the prompter has to say, like what?
He is like the orchestrator of where everything's gonna go.
So hard.
I'm sure I mean, obviously but like there's probably moments as a viewer we don't even see where you guys have like lost the line a little bit, and he's probably like,
and he's listening to somebody in his ear talking.
Yeah,
while
that's insane.
He's talking.
Do you have someone in your ear?
Buddy, that was like the one thing that I couldn't learn how to do. So like, early on, they'd start to say something, and I'd be talking.
Business saying okay,
and I would literally just stop talking,
answering the ear.
and then I would answer the question sometimes, and then like,
Yep,
and then
I'll go to
Liam's
that,
like,
yep.
okay, somebody's in his ear, like, you know, and then like save the whole situation. So yes, there were definitely a few things early on that I had to learn. So.
They're like, damn it, you can't talk to Biz during the
Yeah,
segment.
yeah. It's very Anchorman-esque for
right.
sure.
Dude, we had that for the Corn Ferry thing.
Yeah.
Having someone in your ear, like feeding you information, and you're supposed to sort of start talking, hardest fucking thing in the world.
We got Jackie Redmond, same idea, where she's doing a hit and she'll go ba da 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 da, and she'll talk for 2.5 minutes and remember the whole storyline, facial expressions, like it's all flowing, and you're like, how the fuck did you just remember what you had to say for 2.5 minutes? Not on prompter either.
Crazy.
So yeah, it's gnarly, buddy. Yeah, it's gnarly. And then of course Rick Tocchet, who we lost, and now he's with the Flyers. So talk about you're doing television, then you get hired to Vancouver. Your team wins the Pacific in a division that has McDavid and Draisaitl. You win Coach of the Year. You go to 7 with them in the second round, and last year was a tough year on the whole organization, and now he just got a 5-year deal in Philly. So he's laughing.
Yeah.
And he won a Jack Adams as Coach of the Year with Vancouver.
Jesus.
So like, oh, whoa.
And now he's got
2-year
Zegers.
turnaround.
And now he's got Zegers there too.
That's yeah.
I mean, of course, going the Metro. Just every time you think the Metro's about to slow down, which it felt like we were about to, because like Pittsburgh is not as good as they used to be. Philly wasn't as good as they are.
You guys might be still better than Pittsburgh though, right?
I know. Yeah, we'll see. A lot of things to do during the off season. No, I mean it's just crazy how you are the voice of hockey right now. And
So
I know you don't want to say that.
I don't really look at it like that because like I just like
but you guys are the biggest podcast in the world, hockey podcast, and then you're the fucking star of the show for the primetime games. It's like you are.
Yeah, I just kind of like when I talk to my buddy Jeff and other people, like I just am one to really, I probably do it more like celebrate victory, so to speak, where it's more about just like we kind of just keep our head down and like who do we want to talk to, like listening to the fans, like what should we maybe develop more, like Grinnell's done the Chiclets U stuff and like how much it's expanded and branched off. So we were able to add Kobe Armstrong and Merles, like 2 other buddies that we play with. Now they have
great.
another, and they're awesome, and they got the game notes thing. So
and also Colby's like calling games.
So he calls games. Like he's a Swiss Army knife in the hockey world, and he was doing great at Sportsnet, and I think that they lost a little bit of the rights, and he kind of got hosed a little bit where he should be on the panel more. They've brought him back more since COVID and stuff like that, but Merle's like how much he helps on the gambling side and how important that is in our world now.
From Sweden and shit.
So it's just like obviously any one person's success, like you need a village, and like I've been surrounded by so many amazing people, and yeah, I kind of, like I said, I don't really look at it like that. Just kind of fortunate where on an Unreal TNT team, and then fucking Wit, like funniest guy in the world. Now we got Yans on board.
Yeah.
Yans,
great.
you guys have spent time with him.
I love Yandel.
Oh, he's
dude.
a funny motherfucker.
I love Wit too.
dude.
I love all you guys, but like Yandel we just sat today, and
so funny.
Yeah.
he's just like easy to talk to. I don't know. He's just like I feel like I've known him for 15
also
years.
the funniest guy. You'll like today. I like I said, I've been looking ugly, and he just goes, your eyes. He goes, you look like you just took a bath in chlorine. It's like even saying like chlorine the way he said it was just made me laugh. Like, he was being super mean, but I like laughed at it.
Yeah, his delivery.
It's incredible.
There were those 3 kids that came over that like work the grounds crew here or something. They had the boots on,
Oh yeah, the Timberlands.
and they were like in high school hockey kids that were all over you guys, obviously. And I didn't hear this, but Francis looked over at me. He goes, "You just hear what Yandel said?" No. He goes, "God, you guys unionized already?" To the kids because they had the boots on.
They looked like union workers at 15.
So
Exactly.
good.
That is
So good.
I didn't get that one. And then actually I was going for a putt, and he should just aim at the Timberlands because the kid had work boots on. Yeah, so I caught part of that. The whole.
I do
whole
love
set
the
here.
Chiclets U because I've always said that it's really hard. Golf is very, very easy to make content because everyone plays it and we can just go out and do a match. Hockey can't be that easy to come up with like a lot of good video ideas. Like Dave used to have like the goalie challenge, which was awesome because it was so organic. You
Yep.
can get players involved.
It's
Like,
easy. It's quick. It's kind
similar
of
to
like
like us doing a match against a pro, right?
Yes, and you're breaking 80. Is it?
That's like
Breaking
really
85
all
right
there
now.
is,
Breaking
right? Like you guys aren't gonna go
Yeah.
out there and like shoot targets with like
Right.
Connor McDavid. It like becomes boring. Like it's
yeah.
Chiclets use a nice spin, like where I actually want to sit down, put it on the TV, and be like, "This is hockey content that I would enjoy."
Yeah, it's like Grinelli's and Fish's pizza review.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
that style, right?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
They found a formula. These kids are obsessed with seeing what these facilities are like.
Right.
Because also G said that not every kid gets to go on a college visit. So they
Probably
might
so
be
big for recruiting too. The
for
schools
recruiting.
probably love it.
Oh, buddy, they're all lined up. Like I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if he's getting NIL money from
Yeah,
them.
right.
Like they should be flying
Right.
up first class. Like,
100%.
he should be Jesus Shuttlesworth.
You know how much they would have to.
on the school visit.
You know how much they'd have
I mean,
to
I know
pay?
he's got his girl. I was just kidding about
That's
that.
so
I'm
good.
saying that's the treatment he should
Yeah,
be getting, right?
Bro,
At
they'd
least
have
a
to
Thai
pay-
massage, right? Get
They'd
the
have
feet
to
in the
pay
back.
so much for a production company to come in and do that to get that exposure.
And yeah, so him and Fish, they tackle it. I don't know if they hire maybe one other person independently,
Yeah.
locally, but I agree, man. Like that was a home run, and there's obviously more schools. College hockey is such a big game right now, where a lot of Southern teams are starting to get club teams to get their feet wet, and they have these SCEC football team programs where
Yeah,
they would open and expand to hockey, and I think it's going to be a moneymaker.
yeah.
The college hockey viewership is skyrocketing. So shout out to G and everything else he's helped us grow too. He was another name I didn't mention with all the guys, and we just So just going back to the question, it was just it's cool, man. I've got to experience a lot of amazing things. Going to Winter Classics,
Yeah.
cover that. Stanley Cup Finals, like that experience
Yeah.
this year, getting to go to Edmonton, McDavid in his prime, and I'm getting to watch. For, like,
It
one
is
of the
cool.
best-
Like it's very easy to sense that you enjoy the shit out of that when you're there, right? Because it's a job.
yeah,
It is a job. You're flying across the country, back, forth, and like snip, snap, snip, snap. But to be there, and as the fan, you want the media. You know, I think a lot of people get in the golf world, especially people have been annoyed for years at the golf media because they get really curmudgeon-y,
yes.
and they all get pretty like crusty about golf, and they
they
end up
don't show their personal emotion.
and it's
towards
like
it.
you
They
got in
gotta
to
stay-
cover this game clearly because you love the game of golf, and now you've gotten so twisted into whatever the fuck it is that when you cover it, it's like you're bitter to be there. You're bitching about the media center. You're bitching about the food offerings of the media center, and then that leads to you kind of like turning all your stories negative about the players. I think it's cool, like your guys' whole crew, but especially you when you're up there and you're in fucking Edmonton and the rink is ripping,
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
like you can feel that you guys are jacked to be there.
Yeah,
And I think that helps a lot.
And they
when
filmed
you're
behind the scenes stuff. Was it on the TNT YouTube?
yeah.
So
The
they show,
NHL
like,
put it out.
NHL put it out of them like watching the game. The
Yeah.
pass that one pass from McDavid to Draisaitl where
Yeah.
he did
Toe
like the little
drag,
toe
yeah.
drag. Your
Yeah.
guys' reaction. That's like
That
so-
was kind of the like the Jordan NBA logo. Is that
Yeah.
him, Jordan, on it?
yeah.
Or no, it's West.
Well,
Jerry West.
yeah, but you're thinking of
Like
the,
the jump man.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was kind of his jump man moment. If they would have won the cup, you would
Yeah.
always remember
Yep.
that goal. But obviously, Florida being the wagon, they are kind of ruined it.
yeah.
But what a team! Fuck.
They are
But
unbelievable.
That was,
Fuck.
yeah. Like I said, you're seeing McDavid, Draisaitl in their prime do what they do, and then getting to see, I would say, Florida just top to bottom, and because Kachuk got injured at the perfect time, like not to say that's a good thing, but Four Nations, so they were able to put 9.5 on LTIR, and
Which is what Tampa did when they went on their run
yeah,
also
and then
with
and then they
fucking
add
Kucherov.
Jones and Marchand, and they end
Yeah.
up basically being two of their best players throughout the entire run. I think
Marchand's
Seth-
insane. How
Mi-
good
Mar-
he is.
the clutchness of that guy, like he completely booked his ticket to the Hall of Fame if there was ever any doubt before that. But
Yeah.
also just like the team that they assembled, I would say that is one of the best. If those three guys re-sign, I could seriously see them maybe winning 3 or 4 in a row.
Wow.
That would be crazy.
It's just crazy how fast it happened because you knew that they had the like bones and structure to it when they signed Bobrovsky, and like you know that you lock them up, and then
Oh,
you
yeah.
have like Ekblad, and you have all these guys that you know are like cornerstone players, and then you just start to bring in Kachuk and Marchand and Jones, like you're saying, all these names, Reinhardt, all these guys from other different teams that didn't really shine as much as they are here, and they all just fucking Bennett, like all these guys.
They
that are,
love each other.
they're
too.
not even supposed to be
Yeah.
as good as they are, but now they're fucking. I mean, I
They-
know you talk about like how much money they all deserve now. It's crazy.
And they're gonna stay there for discounts because of the state tax thing, but
Yeah.
we don't need to get in it.
No,
but talk about like a group of individuals, and I know some people who are listening are only golf fans, and you're kind of like, oh, we're talking
talk
about hockey.
They're
but-
used to it.
They
We
hear
talk
so
hockey
much
a
hockey
lot.
talk.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah, and it's an individual sport, which I find so interesting too, because you're all by yourself out there which is fucked.
Well, it's a huge part of, honestly, like a lot of the talk in golf the last several years with LIV coming around is like some team golf stuff, but also the Ryder Cup, like the actual Ryder Cup, not the one we're doing right now, has gotten so big in the last 10, 20 years that people can't help but talk about team golf at least once every 2 years and how it's the biggest and best event in the world of golf. And so now you even see like a lot of the players, like Jordan Spieth's really good about this, and he's not playing as well lately, but he always talks about we whenever he is answering questions at the end of a tournament, during a tournament, and he's alluding to like him and his caddy reading a putt or him and his like his coach getting his swing ready. He always references like we, and that always made me think of hockey culture, of like this guy's not up there talking about himself. He's talking about how it takes a team. And I do think that part of golf, like when you meet a lot of golfers, the reason they can come off as pretty like bland or boring and whatnot is because like they didn't really grow up or after a certain level of playing a sport in like a locker room environment.
Right.
Where like the market, if you want to call it that, like neutralizes you. Like being around people neutralize you. If you're a cocky shithead at age like 13 or 14, by 15 or 16, if you're in a locker room all the time, that will have been like shaved down to where you're like pretty normal.
Your teammates keep you honest. And that's kind of how you learn along the way. You know, maybe I'm out of line and I'm being a little brat, and a couple guys, hey, shut the fuck up, rookie.
100%.
Fucking little bitch, go grab that bag. Like, bro, that stuff happened. Right. Like, a couple times, I remember my first couple of years, Elaine Nazardine was our captain in Wilkes-Barre, and like, hey, shut the fuck up, go sit the fuck down, and you're like, okay, sir, I need to remember who's the boss and how to earn your stripes. And so going back to that, do you think that there's maybe a compromise where maybe the PGA would do this like actual draft where, because like there's so many events, and I feel like the problem is a lot of the guys are like, oh, we don't want to go to all these different events.
Absolutely.
But make those weeks like more team, where you did a draft, so it wasn't like you just go to like, you know, you got like Spieth or whoever, the top four guys just assemble. It's like, okay, well, nobody's going to beat these fucking guys, but maybe do a draft and maybe make that component.
We tried the TGL, that indoor league. It's got, you know, cities, and now there's like different ones popping up, and they're trying to get it to be competitive. I enjoy it because it happens on a Monday night where nothing else is going on, but that's like I guess that's their, you know, foot in that kind of bucket. I don't know.
I would say if the Tour and LIV really do come together, which they've been like talking about for over 2 years now, I could see there being like in the fall or something when a lot of these events are going on that you're talking about that people don't play in, like the Rorys and the Scotties. They don't really fucking play from the end of like the PGA Tour, the Tour Championship, which is in like August, until January. Yeah. They really don't. They do the Ryder Cup, and they'll do like, maybe they'll do an international event. Maybe they'll play one fall series event or something, but they pretty much from, you know, all through September, October, November, December, they don't really play. And I think that if they do some sort of partnership with LIV Golf, I think a lot of people think that would be the biggest splash they could make, is do a team series during that stretch where, again, players don't have to play every week. But if you had a team of like 8 guys and 6 of them play, and you do a series in the fall that adds it up, you could bring this element of team golf, because the team golf really is awesome. And they play team golf a lot of their lives. Like they're on a high school team for 4 years.
Yeah, that's true.
Where they play team golf. Then they're on a college team for 4 years, like a lot of them, where they play team golf. So it's 8 years of their developmental years where they're used to playing team golf. And the European fuckers, that's why they beat us in the Ryder Cup all the time, even though we're ranked higher.
Oh, they do it more?
They play team golf like their whole lives.
Okay,
They play match play like team golf. That's part of their culture. Whereas here in America, the golf culture at a young age is a lot more individualistic. And it's a lot more like country clubs or parents of whatever get their kid, they get into golf and they drive home, like, you know, stroke play, be the best, whatever, which is great. But it's not as like camaraderie and team driven as a lot of the European golf is.
Which I think could be hard from like a life standpoint, right? Because you're not getting that, especially in the early days. Whether it's, we were talking earlier, Jans's girls play lacrosse. And that's a sport that I would love to put my children in, because it toughens you up a little bit. You get that, you know, the physical element. There's some finesse, their conditioning, and the obviously everything we just talked about as far as being on a team. And just going back to Florida, like that's why I wanted to tire pump them. Like every single guy in that locker room loved one another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that sometimes, at least over the past little bit, maybe GMs and maybe other people in front offices have gotten a little bit out of touch with that, because maybe the generational divide. And when you put together a group of guys who are not only that good, but like love each other, it's really hard to beat. And that's why I think that they can win 3-4 in a row. And if they do even if you do 3 in today's standards, that is easily a dynasty and one of the best ever.
Yeah.
That's just as impressive as Islanders winning 4 and Edmonton who won 4 in 5 years.
Yeah.
Because of the cap and the
Yeah.
restrictions now and how you
Parity
can lose
is-
guys.
yeah.
Definitely.
Expansion drafts where players got taken away. Like
Yeah.
it's
Batman giving players to big city
and they're going
markets,
to
right?
play 4 nations and then Olympics next year, so even more hockey.
Crazy.
Oh, man.
So yeah, nuts.
No, it is insane. And it's funny you say the lacrosse thing. Like we talked about a couple shows ago. Someone asked, what would you want your son, if you could pick right now to be professional in a sport, what would it be? And I said hockey because I love it and because of the team aspect of it. Golf, I think, would be last of what I would actually choose to go on that path. Now, if you're telling me he's gonna be successful, it's a great life. Like, don't get me wrong.
Oh,
Yeah,
if you're
tough.
signing him up to go be like Matt Kuchar, it's just gonna fucking
dude,
play
imagine.
for 30 years.
I
And
think
just,
his kid's pretty good.
he is
Yeah,
pretty
really
good.
good.
Yeah.
He's just like a PGA Tour lifer. Just made a ton of money.
Is his kid at Gazer? Aren't they at Gazer?
I think they are.
Yeah, and
I
I,
think
heard
you're
his
right.
kid is like just
Yeah, his
as
kid's-
good as he is.
he's
now.
incredible.
Yeah, because his kid plays in that PNC thing, the thing
Father,
that
son.
Charlie
Yeah.
and Tiger play in.
Okay.
And we would always get mad because we're all trying to get hyped up about Charlie Woods, and then this fucking Kuchar kid would come and kind of dust him for a couple
Oh
years.
yeah.
You're like, get this kid out of here. man.
Yeah.
He's stuck.
Like that's a
Yeah,
pretty
because
good
you guys
setup.
are such bad
Yeah,
grippers of Tiger.
right.
I
Yeah.
love that. You guys go so hard for Tiger.
We go
kidding me?
really hard.
He's like, yeah, you're Wayne, right?
Yeah, it's
yeah,
crazy.
Yeah,
or our McJesus.
Yeah.
It's like we just go nuts for him. So it's
Yeah.
like,
He's just the best.
Yeah.
Everything of the swag and everything. But yeah, I think golf is way too individualistic. Like it's a kind of lonely ride up to, stardom or whatever you end up getting. Not that many guys even get up there. I just think it's a real, like we have a guy, Alistair Doherty, who's on the Corn Ferry, which is like the minor leagues of PGA Tour. And he's finished 1 stroke short of his PGA Tour card like twice at this point, maybe even 3 times.
twice last year.
Twice
alone.
last year, 1
In a
stroke
2-month
off,
period.
which is over 4 days. You got to think about how fucking insane that is to finish 1 stroke away from your life goal
Ah.
twice in the same year.
Think about how many strokes you wish you could have back today.
Today.
And we
Now
played
think about-
fucking 2 9-hole matches that were
Right.
scrambled alternate shots.
He's thinking about every single wedge shot that maybe rolled out an
Changed
extra
his life.
inch or changed his life. And he
Imagine
wears
if you
all,
got to play the whole year
Oh.
in the NHL versus playing the whole year in the AHL. If it worked like that,
that's by one
structure-wise.
putt.
Right.
literally
and-
what happened.
Yeah, and like that's like that buys him a house,
Everything.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
minimum $500,000 once you get in.
Oh, that's the Q school thing?
No, this is like the new PGA Tour.
They
Oh,
give you like
okay.
a $500K stipend. So
Oh,
essentially,
that's
if you don't
You know
earn
that's a-
$500,000,
Yeah.
then they'll pay you whatever you didn't earn. So you're at least taking home $500K if you're on the PGA.
Even
Tour.
if you missed the cut for fucking.
Was that
for-
something that was instilled under that new kind of CBA?
Once LIV happened, it was like we
Yeah.
need to
Good.
start.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It is good. With Shipsticks, it's stress-free airport travel. Trust me, it changes everything. You do not want to be going through the airport with golf clubs. The more that you can just travel in terms of flights without having to check any bags, the much better your life's going to be. And Shipsticks makes that happen better than anybody else on the planet.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact that you can go through these little airports with all these connections, a lot of these golf resorts that all of these listeners, that all of our great listeners that love to play the game of golf across this great country and around the world, you are going to some of the most remote places, right? You're like, we're going to Forest Dunes. You got to fly to Springfield, and sometimes you got to take a connection. Or when you go to Big Cedar Lodge, you're flying into Charlotte sometimes from New York, and then they're shipping you over to Missouri. There's all these different airports that you're hitting to get to these golf resorts. And the stress that you now have with 16 guys, 8 guys, however many it may be on your golf trip, the fact that you have to worry if your golf bags are going to make it to your final destination, that should be the least stress that you have. You should be baking in a Shipsticks price and order with your buddy's trip when you're going on vacation, when you're coming back from a work trip that you don't want to show people you got your clubs with you. You ship them to the golf course, you ship them right back. There's so many different options to use Shipsticks. I'm telling you right now, it's a game changer to add it to your golf trip. It's going to go right to the clubhouse. All your boys and all the girls are all going to show up and they're going to be like, our clubs are here. It's a crazy feeling.
Here's a discount code for you too. Shipsticks.com. Use the code FOREPLAY20, FOREPLAY20, FOREPLAY20. You're going to get 20% off your next shipment. That is shipsticks.com, 20% off your next shipment with the code 4play20. Sport Clips is dropping something huge this June, the Playmaker Sense. For a limited time, and you get the MVP haircut experience, which I've gotten many times, by the way. It's great. They give you the towel. They give you a little shampoo. They rub your head. It's nice. AKA the most relaxing haircut in the game. That's the MVP haircut experience. You can pick a brand new relaxing scent for your hot steamed towel. Choose from a lineup of sports-inspired scents like early morning practice air, smells like fresh grass, a cold breeze, and the start of a legendary season. Rawlings' new leather glove with warm, rich notes of leather. That is one of the great smells that there is.
Right.
And then wild card for those bold or hungry enough to try it, Stadium Buttered Popcorn, which smells insane. Fun fact, it's actually the staff favorite among the Sport Clips crew. That is the Stadium Buttered Popcorn. These scents are only around for June, and then they are gone. So visit now. Try them out. Sport Clips, it's a game changer. Offer ends June 30th, 2025 at participating locations only and where permitted by law.
Okay, so let's go back to that. What's going to happen with LIV? Is it going to survive, Trent?
I mean, I think LIV is going to survive. I can't believe like this is still a topic that is like, because it's been going on for so long. Like we thought, you know, LIV appears and you're like, wow, this is pretty interesting. Like all these guys are jumping ship. The Saudis are paying all this money, and you're just kind of like, I don't know, like it was interesting to see a modern sport go through that. Like you just, we've
nuts.
you guys obviously love hockey, like we like baseball, we like football, and it just hasn't really happened in any other arena.
Not to that standard, but the WHA in hockey tried to do that, but not.
When was that?
That was I think that Wayne, like around that exact time, like Wayne was never drafted to the NHL. He was like, I think he was given to Edmonton. Like there was like a little bit of an expansion draft or something, and they got Gretzky, and there was one other guy from his team that got traded.
He wasn't a first overall pick.
No, I don't think. Can you look that up so I'm not an idiot on this podcast?
I think you're right though.
Yeah, I think he came from. We'll get back to it, but
he came from the WHA.
WHA, I believe, or he played for who? Not drafted.
Wow.
Yeah, but we're also not talking about.
That's not talking about enough.
Unlimited money here. We're talking about an entity where, wait a minute, you're offering guys $150 million.
Yeah, right.
I think that they offered that Derek Sanderson who played in Boston. He was the first player in hockey to get $1 million contract. I believe it was for 3 years. And I think he took his bonus and he went and bought a Rolls Royce. We had him on our podcast. He's like, fuck, that was stupid. I think it was $75,000 back then to buy one. Like, that's a lot. He had $1 million,
in like 1980 or something, or
yeah. So he was a
Holds
legend.
no value, just like him.
He was a weapon, dude. He was hanging out with Joe Namath and shit. Like, it was fucking crazy. They were like running mates.
No, the LIV thing is pretty nuts because it is an existential threat to the like establishment tour. That's just where people play. You know, Rory McIlroy lives over here with his family because this is where you need to be playing golf.
Right.
And that's just the deal. That's what Adam Scott is over here playing on the PGA Tour. He's from fucking Australia because you need to be here. And so for an existential threat to come to it like that, we kind of made the analogy when we were talking about it of like, because right away it was very toxic when people were leaving. Very toxic.
Oh, they were getting dragged to the
Saudi
blood
money. You were like a terrorist if you were going. All this stuff, and we were trying to, we were talking about how come the tour's not doing more to keep them, and we were using the example of Frankie's restaurant of like, imagine if someone came over, they opened up an Italian restaurant across the street from Borelli's. And Laredo has been making pizza there for his whole life. His hands are pizza by now.
His thumbs go sideways.
If he makes, if
this guy Laredo doesn't know anything.
Is that the guy who's always sitting in the chair?
Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
He's just.
I think I snapped a picture and sent it to you one time.
Did.
I go, let this guy leave.
You did.
It was like the meme of the lady that the fast food worker who's hunched over, like
His thumbs go sideways. And the best part of Laredo is he's been making pizzas for 60 years. We've been over for 70. He never got great at it. That's, I think, the funniest part is like he never really perfected it. Like he still makes the same family 7.9 pizza for 60 years.
Wow,
Like,
hey.
there was never like a there was never,
Utility.
like you'd think like he'd have his own
Utility.
recipes and
Oh,
all these
yeah.
things. Like
10,000 hours. Like this guy's
he's made
got
he's
it.
made
He
2
does
million
got it.
pizzas.
A machine.
He's just like he sometimes still burns the shit out of them and like but
He's
so much
Radko
cheese.
Gudas.
Yeah, he's
You know, so you plug
He's a
him in and he's
compiler,
gonna get
yeah.
it done.
Guy doesn't have a clue who the president is. He's
Dude,
got no
I
idea.
swear to God, I think if you went to Laredo and you're like, Laredo, you know, what's the last movie you go? Well, movie? What? He wouldn't know what the word movie is. He wouldn't know what the president is. He just knows his garden and Borelli's, and he still only makes a 7.9. You know what I mean? That's the best part.
He's an
This
artist.
guy should be fucking famous.
I want to see what his garden looks like.
Oh,
But it'd be
Probably has a beautiful garden. eh?
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like if someone did that and then they say, "Oh, we're gonna pay Laredo. We're gonna pay you $1.5 million a year now, and you only got to work 3 days a week." And then he left. And then if people went to Frankie's dad, were like, "How come your employees are leaving?" You'd be like, "Well, I mean, the fuck do you want me to do?"
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
kinda where
Well,
the tour
I don't
was
really
at.
blame the PGA. So, do you think if they polled players now, that a lot of guys who said no based on the public backlash would say, "Fuck, man, I wish I would have took it."
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like, who do you think most left the biggest?
Rory.
There's a big debate about that. I think Rory would probably be number one because the tour turned their back on him and fucked him.
Okay, so if he signed now, could he make nearly as much as he
I
was
don't
being
think they're
offered?
doing those deals. I mean, I think Liv would give Rory $1 billion to fucking.
What?
You don't think so? You don't think not $1 billion, but like you don't think
So then why wouldn't he do it then? 'Cause he'd
Well, I
come up-
think I don't know if they would now, just because it's not
that'd be a
it's not
kill
that arms
shot.
race anymore. Like it's a very different. I don't know, but at the time, you know, he was the guy. He was the prince of the PGA Tour. He was carrying the torch. He was the one answering the questions. He was the one that was like, "You're basically a bad guy if you leave, and you're a good guy if you stay." Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer have like paved the way and the trail for us to be here doing this. And then the tour, Jay Monahan, one day without telling Rory until 5 minutes before,
That's
was like, "We're
insane.
doing a deal with Liv,"
That's insane.
and made Rory look like an idiot. And
yeah,
that's-
or give him the heads up so he can fucking sign a contract
yeah,
to go over, considering you're gonna stab him in the back.
yeah.
Do you think that's why maybe Rory, like, does he hold a grudge towards the PGA? I feel like lately some stuff's been going on.
Yeah,
I would not know like what the fuck that guy's probably get so much on his plate, and I wouldn't know what it's like to be in his shoes.
we've broken this down a lot over the last couple of months because he won the Masters, and then it was seemingly like, okay, this guy who's 35 or 36, whatever he is now going to just be perfect, happy, the most beloved guy ever in golf for the next 50 years. He did it. And instead, it's kind of been like he's gone downhill with the public perception over the last 2 months.
What
But
set him off?
I think
the driver.
Other than Oakmont.
The
I
driver.
think achieving his lifelong goal just sort of set him on a path of, I don't really give a fuck.
Well,
Yeah.
that, but I also think the driver.
It's been really
drive-
interesting.
as in what he says to the media or
no,
whatever.
I think it's all
That's part of it.
I think it's all tied together, which is like there was an incident at the next major where his driver was non-conforming, which is normal, but they test him. And if your driver, because you hit so many balls, your driver, like the face of it can change its composition. And if it changes to a certain degree, you can't use it, which happens again pretty frequently. But they tested it. His got leaked as like non-conforming, but other people, including Scotty Scheffler's, also were non-conforming, and they weren't allowed to use them, but it didn't get leaked to the media. So I think you could tie all of it to like
there was a
Okay,
headline.
his relationship with the
There was a
media.
headline saying that Rory McIlroy's driver was illegal.
Right.
Okay,
So
and that was the
God.
week after the Masters. So it's
some
like,
fuckhead who wrote that is he
and
stirring it
everyone's
up?
like, and everyone's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like, oh well, like what was he using the last couple weeks,
Right.
and like this guy, and now he's back to the QI10. So it's like, and he's like, these motherfuckers,
Yep.
I've given them everything.
Yep.
Out of 140
Yeah.
players, 90 guys had something wrong with their club, or whatever the number is, right? Like, you
Yeah.
test
Why
half-
am I being
like
leaked? And
Scotty Scheffler, the best
They
golfer in
test
the world.
50, I believe, and usually like 10 fail.
Yeah, whatever the
so
number
he,
is.
Yeah, which
so
is a
he's
lot.
got some fair buildup of like, for everything I've done for this tour, including not taking that money, which could also be related to like he just wouldn't do that for like
Principle, yeah.
principal personal reasons. Like I'm not judging you either way. I guess your life. So do you think that just all kind of pent up now, or he's like, fuck these guys?
Kind of what it feels
Yes.
like, yeah. I
You
think
guys
that's
are you guys kind of like lean towards his side about it then?
probably more so than not, but it's also been a little like more bizarre than that. Like he had a press conference during the US Open that the whole thing was just a little like he seemed on edge and sort of like He just seemed confrontational almost with
I think
people.
he said, I think I've earned the right to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Which is not untrue, but it's just like he's pretty beloved by the media, and the media itself, I think, has always treated him pretty damn good with like gloves on. And I think he kind of is putting media and social media and all that in one bucket and just being like, fuck this, I'm all set. It's kind of the way it comes off to me.
Well, dude, it's also really hard. Riggs makes a great point all the time about that being his Stanley Cup. He won the Masters. He's now, he's won all 4.
Oh, yeah.
He's royalty.
Royalty.
And then the next week he has to come out and perform and play games. Imagine the guys right now that you guys just interviewed on Spittin' Chiclets in the pool having to go play a game next week, lose it, and people criticize them for using the wrong equipment. They'd be like, we just
2 months
fucking,
off. You
they'd be like, we just
Right.
fucking won the Stanley Cup. I don't give a fuck what this question about like me and my coach or like I don't give a fuck. Like, give us some
And
time.
then he had to answer him about the club, which is now like
Right.
I'm
But
trying
he's
to
just like, let
get
me
a-
fucking chill.
yeah,
Which-
that's
which-
kind of
Then
Okay.
we are saying as fans, we're like, well, if he like, if I could be his PR guy, just be like, just come here and just be like, yeah, I'm just not playing well. But I
Yeah,
won the
sounds
Masters.
like
I
he
don't
needs
give
a
fuck.
Thai
I don't give a
masseuse.
fuck. You don't have to really tell
Right.
everyone like I
He's had
hate
the-
you
the
guys right
feet-
now. Yeah,
feet in the back. You know?
We even said just take off until the Ryder Cup.
stop playing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just
Do
go on a
something.
yacht in the south of France and be like, I don't give a fuck.
What do you think he left on the table from Liv? What was the offer? 500.
Oh,
There's so
Yeah,
many
maybe
rumors.
$500 million.
Wasn't there a rumor that Tiger was going to get the billion?
I think it was
Yeah.
like 800 or 900
And
million.
everyone was like thinking he might have like even entertained it just because that's money for his foundation for like the rest of the foundation's
That's
existence.
fucking-
You know
If someone
what I mean?
puts a $900 million offer in front of you and you
Multi-generational.
don't think about it, then that's something wrong.
Yeah.
You got to at
Right.
least think about a deal like that.
Oh, fuck. Make me sick.
But like Rom got probably 500-600 million.
that was the
Did
most
he?
of any guy.
That's
I
what
think
I'm.
he was like 3.
All right, sorry.
But still, that's
Crazy
a stunning
deal.
amount of money.
I just find it like just going back to the Rory stuff. I feel like he's still the top guy that's talked about. I know Scheffler might be better.
No, Rory always moves the needle.
He moves the needle the most, right?
Yep.
I just find it odd that like you're the best player in your sport that's kind of going through this thing is also at war with its best player. Like golf's in a weird place
yeah.
Yeah.
if you think
it's
about it from the
also-
outside.
The thing we talk about all the time too is like golf isn't cool enough to be in a position like this.
No.
Like it's not hockey,
No,
it's not
totally.
football, it's not baseball,
Totally.
it's not. You can't be splitting the talent pool of a sport that people already don't come out in droves to watch.
Yeah.
So it's like it's in a really weird spot.
And
yeah,
it's-
so they try to drive up traffic with LIV. Like, how do you think they should structure it to drive more attendance?
Oh man.
I actually think over the last year, the PGA Tour's been in a pretty good increase in
Yeah, it has.
incline, I would
It has.
say.
But
Okay.
because of Scotty Scheffler, because of Rory winning the Masters, has like been good.
It's
more
much
foot traffic.
It's much easier when their better players are winning, which is what's happened this last year, which has been huge. Like Rory won 3 times this year, including the Masters.
Right,
He
like
won
is
big
there
events.
like is there ever a Stanley Cup Finals where it's just like 2 small market teams and nobody really cares?
Yeah.
Does that happen very often?
Was a great question.
What's the last like bad Cup final?
Probably COVID, and then it was. I guess because I think Montreal was in it, so obviously that's a big.
That was
market.
weird because they were in like the same
Yeah.
conference too.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, was it Tampa?
You can't
Tampa,
even say
Montreal.
you can't say St. Louis. They have a huge following locally.
That was also St. Louis, Boston, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a
they
good
move-
one.
That moves the needle. So I couldn't even tell you. Washington,
So the thing with golf is it feels like that happens more often than not, where it's
maybe Vegas, Florida would have
Okay.
been from a number standpoint, like not generating a
'Cause
lot.
Vegas
but
like just had started.
yeah, and like I would say that.
Yeah.
and the golf, it can't be Scotty and Rory every week. You'll get, no offense, we like the guy, we've had him on, Ben Griffin. Like it's just
Yeah.
Ben Griffin
yeah.
will win a golf tournament, and people are just like, I don't care.
I mean, if
Yeah.
JJ Spawn went out and won like if JJ Spawns of the world won every single major, it wouldn't be getting as much hype as like when Rory wins the
No.
Masters. And that's no disrespect to my guy JJ Spawn.
No, you can get away with it.
That's just a fact.
Like not get away with it, but like the golf world, his story was awesome and it played at Oakmont for sure. But you're right, you need bigger names winning consistently. I
And
think
that's
helps
why they
drive
love
it along.
Tiger, because he probably
Exactly.
did it the best.
And they also
Was it more that he was just so good, or at that time maybe the talent wasn't as good?
I think it's that he was so good.
Okay,
I really
because you know how you have the big 3 in tennis, or even like, there was 4 guys at one
Mm-hmm.
point. Like, when was the heyday where there was like 4 guys going at it?
Thing was, dude, Tiger put all of them like in a nap. he just would finish them off so consistently. But you look like Phil was out there before Tiger by a couple years, and Phil still has 6 major championships, has won 3 of the 4. He's got 46 or something PGA Tour wins.
Wow,
Like,
okay.
as good as Rory is, he's under 30, I believe, PGA Tour wins still.
Yeah.
And like, he's unbelievable. He wins all the time, it feels like. Phil still was able to win a ton. And Ernie Els was able to win a bunch of majors. Vijay Singh got to number 1 in the world and won quite a few majors. So it's like, there were other guys that were really, really good during that stretch. David Duval was like number 1 in the world.
I liked
during
watching Duval.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, he had the glass stand.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is hotly contested. People are wondering if, like, Tiger's just competition just never, like, lived up to what that era should have, or if Tiger was that fucking dominant that he just
Did
killed
Tiger
them.
infiltrate like you and your friend group growing up?
Yeah, he actually motivated me to golf and pick it up. Like I
Really?
would watch it. My dad would always watch it on Sundays and like the red shirt. So yeah, as a kid, I remember like hearing about him, and you know, we went down south for a trip. I forget where, like in Florida, but the Hard Rock, and they had the trophy with him with the PGA, and like he was just kind of like a rock star at that
Yeah.
time. So really hard not to. Is the Mount Rushmore of golf uncontested, or do you guys have differences?
Ooh. The tricky part with that is that a couple of the guys that would be on there are really, really old. Like 100 years ago old.
Like Hogan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a
It'd be
little
like
tricky.
putting Babe Ruth on like the baseball one when like even he's contested now that like he faced 68-mile-an-hour pitching, or you know what I mean? It's just different than
So it's like
Mike
Yeah,
Trout
yeah.
or
it's like Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, and then
Sam Snead.
you know, it's a little tricky. Yeah, it's like Gene Sarazen, Sam Snead, Bobby Jones. Like, you know, there's Ben Hogan. Does Arnold
Young
Palmer,
Tom Morris. I don't know.
I know. Does
It
like
is
Arnold
such-
Palmer crack it because he was like such an icon?
It's just such an old sport that you go way back, and they are greats, but it's like, how do you compare them
We're
to
due
any
for a
other-
part of my take appearance. We got to do about
Is
Rushmore.
Arnold Palmer
Love
just the
to.
one who branded himself the
Yeah.
best?
Yeah.
Arnie was
And
like
he was a handsome guy, wasn't he?
Yo,
Yeah,
he
must have,
smoking
though.
the cigarette.
The ladies must have. Just,
Oh
huge
my
hands
God.
too, just giant hands.
Probably a wrench on the
Just-
guy too.
oh.
Right? Just a hammer. We with the DJ Khalid, we did one of those night golf things on TNT, and I got invited to go. I met is it Zimmerman or Immelman?
Immelman,
Oh,
Trevor
Trevor
Immelman,
Immelman,
Trevor
yeah.
Immelman.
South African guy.
South African,
The
great
best.
guy.
Great friend of the
sorry,
program.
Trev. I forgot your last name, buddy. I was getting tongue twisted there. I'm an idiot. But so he won a major, right?
Yeah.
Yep, he won the
That's
Masters.
That's a life changer, right?
Life changer.
It's literally why he's got his fucking job now.
So he's probably the South African version of Mike Weir,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Yep. Left
exactly
Masters just changes it all.
everything.
Dude, you win the Masters, your whole life is
You're at
set.
the Champions
It's over.
Dinner every year. You wear the green jacket. You're there every single year. You're just the guy.
Dude,
You
we went to
change-
Trevor Immelman's house when we interviewed him. He's been on the pod a bunch, and we went to his office, and it's just like,
The
here's all my
trophies.
Masters shit. It's everything.
His
you
whole
take
office is
everything.
Masters.
It's all Masters. It's a fucking life changer.
It's also, it's like if he was sitting in that restaurant in there, everyone there would just be like, that's a Masters
won the
champion.
Masters.
That guy won the Masters. This golf season, are you looking for an easier way to get on the course? Well, guess what? We've got you covered because the Barstool Golf Time app makes it easy for golfers to find the best tee times at the best prices. This app is awesome. I've used it many, many times, especially when I first got to Arizona. I didn't really have anywhere to play. Just look on the app, look up prices, look up reviews, right? We love the app because it's got great reviews. People will leave how many stars they want to put on it. They'll tell you what the greens are like, if they're slow, if they're fast, if it's been aerated recently. All that good stuff is all in the Barstool Golf Time app. And then we're also doing a big promotion going on right now. Play at least one round of golf between now and July 13th through the Barstool Golf Time app, and you'll be entered for a chance to win a free stay in Pinehurst for you and up to 7 friends at my cottage on Pinehurst number 2, which is my favorite place in the world. The more rounds you play, the more entries you get. All you got to do is get at least one round in, and you're eligible to win the golf trip of a lifetime. Barstool Golf Time app is great, gentlemen.
Yeah, the reviews that's the big one that you got to send home. The fact that our listeners, our fans, the people that like to play the same type of golf that we do are going out there and they're leaving reviews on this app. This is our app to make sure that we are curating the best reviews, the best players are playing these places. They're letting you know what the greens are doing, what the fairways look like, all of that stuff. I love it. Adding photos, the whole deal. And you can go on the leaderboard. The more you play, the more that you leave reviews, the more that you benefit and climb up that leaderboard and get all the different swag and all the different, goodies for, being an active user on the app.
Once again, the promotion going on. Play at least one round of golf between now and July 13th, and you are entered to win a stay at the cottage in Pinehurst. Come golf with us. Download the Barstool Golf Time app today.
What else? Well, I got a few more questions.
We don't want to keep you too long.
No, you've done more than enough with
Yeah,
that.
Oh,
dude.
I just like
came back
ripping
from
it out. I don't know much about golf, and it's kind of here.
When
It's
did
fun
you
here.
start golf? Was it like, did you really start to feel it when you got into the league and like guys were going out during
I
the
did
summer?
it, like I
and-
said, when Tiger started doing
That was it.
I went to a local club and started swinging it. I
and
actually
my brother,
started out as a lefty because I played hockey left,
Yeah.
and I was kind of decent as a lefty. And then one day I just swung one right, and I'm like, oh, whoa, that's how it's supposed to feel.
No way.
So I switched to right.
No way.
Yeah. I think I'd already bought in a left set, and then I had to tell my parents, "Hey, when I'm swinging it the other way, it's a lot smoother."
you're
It's like,
right-handed.
Jesus
Christ.
Hey,
Christ.
Dad, time for playing against sports. Let's go down the road
You're
here.
right hand dominant?
Like
You throw a ball righty.
I throw ball right. Yeah,
You right-handed?
I right hand.
Yeah, you're the same
and then
as me.
I'm a righty, right? So, but I shoot left in hockey, so I thought it was that.
Maybe that was probably should have shot righty in hockey.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
You know what I'm
Fuck,
saying?
now you really got me. in a
Like you
pretzel.
got it twisted.
No
here.
one's ever said that to me. You're the first person to ever say that to me when I've told that story. Fuck. I'm surprised Jans didn't chirp me and say
You know?
that. Fuck. You guys are sharing a brain right now. But congrats on everything you guys have been able
yeah,
to
we
accomplish,
appreciate
man.
it, man.
This is awesome.
You too.
It was good getting to golf with you guys. I thought it was a very fitting ending
Yeah.
to set it all up for what we have going
Set
on
it
right
up.
now. But
Set it up.
Trent, you're the most relatable golfer to me. So Harry Knuckles,
Thank you, bro.
proud of you, and good luck
Knuckles.
breaking
I
85.
appreciate that.
Riggs, way better than expected. And
you.
are you technically the best golfer on the pod now?
I think I've played probably the best golf
Yes.
that people have seen.
Definitely.
I still give it to Riggs. I think he could beat me.
Which-
on any given
which-
day.
I think my bad is way worse than Frankie's bad, but I think like our best, I can edge Frankie barely.
Wow,
yeah.
okay.
But I can
Have
play
you guys
way
ever
worse.
went head to head?
Yeah, we did the 1v1v1 couple. I guess that was almost like, when did we go to? When
When
did we
was
do
that?
that?
Was that Dominican
Dominican
Republic?
Republic.
Yeah,
that was like the
Frankie
last
won
time we
that one.
went like up against each other.
Oh,
Frankie
yeah,
won
that's
that
So
one.
you must be pretty inspirational where you went from what, an 18 when you started?
I was
or-
probably like a 10, but then I went and saw this psychiatrist and did a Fixing Frankie series. This guy, Dr. Brett McCabe, and like something just clicked. And I still resorted to that. And sometimes even like off camera, people will ask me like, "Oh, was that actually it?" And I still to this day think that was it.
what,
Like, as crazy as it sounds, I did
what
a
do you
series.
say to yourself now before going back to the dark path?
There's really no like, I don't have a process in terms of thought. It's really, he taught me to just there's one thing, it's a mindset of just I was very nervous playing the game.
Same.
And it was a lot of
Same.
That's
and
how
I'm
I
very
am.
self-deprecating. So really he like pieced apart a lot of the issues I have about just like myself and my own personality. Very self-deprecating. So like I walk in, I have skinny legs. I'm like, "Oh, I can't wear shorts. Look at my fucking legs." I walk in, I always want to make fun of myself. The first thing I do when I walk into the room. I never, that was probably subconscious. So then in
Right.
golf, I'd be in a bunker, I'd have a chip, and I'd be like, "Watch out, boys," or I'd be like, "Yo, watch this." Like, you ready to see a skull fuck? And like, I'm
Yeah.
like setting myself up for failure with the hope that I'll shock people. But he's like, you're setting yourself up all this doubt. So like, you're almost thinking, don't skull fuck it, don't duff it. And you keep saying these words, even though the word "don't" in front of it is in front of it, you're saying it and you're thinking all the wrong things that could happen.
No
You're already
shit.
thinking about the result
Pretty
of your
wild,
buddy
huh?
and
It's like life.
you're
Yeah,
thinking
right,
about your
yeah.
buddy.
How do you talk to yourself?
You're thinking
right?
about your buddy laughing about you. You're like, "Oh, what's the next shot going to look like?" And he said, instead of doing that, instead of saying, "Watch out," say, "Watch this."
Watch
Get cocky. Be like, "Watch what I've been working on." Like, you ready to see this? And if you don't hit a good one, who fucking
Who
cares?
Who cares?
You're not trying to play for anything specific.
Unless you throw a club.
Yeah,
like
right.
at Red Tail when I was 4-putting every fucking
Dude,
green.
I actually just listened to, and I know we're about to wrap up, but that guy, Andrew Huberman, the fucking brain specialist.
Yeah, he's great.
I was listening to him talk about dopamine and like what dopamine actually is. It's like your brain really like being hungry for the pursuit of something. And then once you finally get there, it's never like as good as you anticipated. It's almost like the ride for a Stanley Cup playoffs. Everyone used to say, "Oh, Frankie's going nuts for a fucking, the first round win." And I'm like, it's all about the ride, because once you finally win, it's over.
It's over.
So like, I want to be able to say, I won the game. We're going back to Perez. We're having drinks. We have a game on Friday night. That's dopamine.
Agree
That's what it
with
is. So I always, now that I listen to that, I wonder what that is with golf, where it's like the anticipation of about to hit the shot. You're feeling all these really high emotions of like,
you just described my whole afternoon.
I'm gonna fucking nip
that was
this
my
thing,
whole afternoon.
right? Like, I'm gonna nip this thing to 5 feet, and then there's something about like once you make contact, you have that extreme drop of like, all right, now reality just hit.
Yeah.
And you have all these highs and lows of like anticipation and the pursuit. It's all that anticipation. So that's really got me thinking about what the game is.
Visits till he drilled you in, or it was one consult?
We did like 4 or 5 videos, and we practiced like we worked on practicing. So like if we were chipping, he'd be like, "Where are you trying to land this chip?" And I would he made me put a tee down where he wanted to visually see where I was looking. And I put it like a foot in front of the hole. He's like, "That's incorrect." Like he's teaching me like how to practice better. Like, land it here and look at this spot because you want to roll it out. Like, you're trying to hit the perfect shot. The perfect shot would mean that you need to literally have a 10 out of 10 contact, zip it right next to the hole. Like, you're not going to do that every time. So set yourself up for success. Hit it here, let it roll out.
Where are you going to leave it? Where are you going to leave it? Like pool.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
right.
There's a lot of fucking things.
And you're probably going to talk to the fans about the testing you just did?
Yeah.
I
was telling Biz about it. I was telling Frankie about this too, but I went last week to Colorado and did 2 full days of medical evaluations, which is no issues that I have that I know.
Every male should be listening to this, by the way.
But it was very
or person, anybody, male or female, but younger.
It was put on to me by our boy Josh Isner, who's everybody kind of on this show for the most part knows Josh Isner very well. He's brought up at dinner last night a bunch. Him and Dave are like besties now, which is very funny. But yeah, he kind of turned me on to this of. I have horrible heart history on my mom's side of the family. And like my mom, I believe her grandfather, her dad, and multiple of her brothers have passed away from heart attacks. My mom's also one of 12 kids, so it's like the numbers right, but still, obviously not good. My mom had a heart attack a couple years ago. So anyways, I was just like, Jesus. And like, I think we're pretty active, but I don't actively like work out ever. I do skate a couple times a week when I'm home. We're active people, but I don't really like work out. And like, as people saw in the Chiclets video, I do love to drink. Drinking's awesome. And like with our lifestyle, we do it a lot, whether it's golfing with your buddies, whether we like go out after, last night, even it's like you have 2 or 3 beers at dinner, nothing crazy, but you have a good amount of drinks. So anyways, the whole point was I have no idea where I'm really at. In fact, like we talk about when people would say like modern medicine and stuff, I would always think in my head, like that has no effect on me because I'm not going anywhere. Like if there's modern technology that can detect things, it's not, we might as well be 200 years ago because I'm not going anywhere or doing anything about it. So anyways, Josh told me about this program he was doing. So I flew to Colorado and dude, it was 2 full days of like intensive testing. It takes about 4 weeks for all the results to come in. And then you have a big consultation with the doctor and they're like, here's where you're at. And I mean, it was detailed down to like, obviously taking a lot of blood. I did a full body MRI, a full brain MRI, a full upper torso MRI that are like closer. I did CO2 max testing, which you and I were talking about, Biz, because like you guys would do that for hockey a lot, which is where they hook all this oxygen like mask up to you, a bunch of stuff up to like your chest, your heart, and then they have you go to exhaustion on the bike, and then they do it on the treadmill as well. You go to like exhaustion running on the treadmill, and then they just monitor in close detail your heart, your blood flow, all of that. They had me do like you guys would laugh at this. They had me do like a stress test that I didn't know was a stress test, but it was like, They had me hooked up to the blood pressure thing, and they take your blood pressure a couple times normal, and then the guy comes in and he's got a bowl of ice cold water, and he's like, put your left hand in the water for 2 minutes. I'm like, okay, put it in there for 2, and it was hard. Like the first minute or so was fine, but like the last minute, it's like your hand is freezing, and you're sitting there, but it's like fine. I kind of got through it, and at the end of it, he was like, looking at the numbers, he looks at me, he's like, so how do you typically handle stress? And I was like, pretty good. And he was like, your body says otherwise. And I was like, yeah, I mean, now that I think about it, like I probably handle stress like worse than anybody.
Mine would go off the fucking page.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
you show me like put a picture of like Sean Avery in a Rangers jersey.
Yeah,
He's gonna
yeah.
be fucking.
And he's like,
oh my god.
Tag attack.
yeah. He's like, you sure? And I was like, well, you asked me, I'm gonna fucking strangle you. I'd shut the fuck up. You're like sitting there.
Yeah.
And he was like,
Let's
yeah,
have
you're.
Dave ask me a question. You want to get a stress test?
Yeah.
But dude,
Frankie,
it was,
where are we eating tonight?
Oh,
it was
God,
nuts.
here
He
we
was
go.
like, no joke.
Dead.
He's like, your blood pressure results. He was like, the reason that this is stress is he's like, I'm sure outwardly you do a good job most part of like you were acting like everything's fine. I was like, yeah, sitting there, I was trying to like power through it. And he's like, totally. He's like, your body was freaking out. He's like, that's an uncontrollable thing like that we'll have to work on. But he was like, your stress levels or your blood pressure levels at that were on par with people having a stroke.
Damn.
Just with my left hand being in there, because he's like, what we've done is we've taken you to an environment that you can't control. That you're now in an environment that you can, and we're just seeing how your body reacts to that. You have no control over what just happened. And he was like, the ways that we can work on that is through like meditation and like shit like that.
I wonder how common that is when someone has their hand in freezing. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're probably close to like average. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But he was like, yeah. So it was stuff like this for, you know, they did a whole thing that, dude, they hooked me up to like a helmet with sensors, 20 sensors on it. Hook it up to your brain or to your head. It's like, and then they had me do like 3 different like cognitive tests, brain tests.
Yeah.
And then they're measuring everything. So one of them was like a reaction thing. So it was like there was a high pitched tone and then a normal tone. It'd be like normal tone, normal tone, normal tone, high pitched tone. You have to like left click the mouse every time. And they're measuring, I guess, everything through that.
God
like,
damn.
Jesus.
So dude, I did all this shit for 2 straight days. And then, you know, they do give you a decent amount of the results in real time. Like they take your whole body fat composition.
So if you have like a maybe cancer cells that are developing,
so that's like big part of the blood test and all that was the cancer. Like I think they test for over 150, you know, pre-cancer cancer cells like developing, so you can hopefully like get ahead of it or whatever. And then another one was like the body fat composition, which was like they, you know, as not any different than when you go in. It's like what's your body fat, but also they were able to measure. I can't remember what the term is, but it's the percentage of your body fat inside of your like inside of you that's on your not just like skin and all that, but that's on your organs and in your arteries and all that. And I was like, how the fuck do they test that? Because it was actually very interesting. And you were standing on this machine like, oh, they shoot like a sonar almost type beam and they can detect precisely how fast it takes to come back. And if it's a little less than it should have taken, that means it's blocked by what could only be fat in that spot. And this gives you a whole deal. And then, like I said, if they're like, if anything like alarming comes back as we get these results, we'll obviously let you know if you need to go do something about it. But otherwise, 4 to 6 weeks, you sit down with the doctors and they like,
it's nice. Yeah, no, I'd
but it's
love
like, I just don't want to drop dead.
No, yeah,
That's pretty much it. I was like,
a lot of life to live.
Yeah, they're like, what are your goals here? And I was like, honestly, I'm not trying to be fucking Iron Man. I would like to be in pretty decent shape.
I'd like to drink 12 drinks a day.
That's
fucking hipper.
That's what I told him. I was like,
how do I keep doing that till
that's
90?
pretty much it.
How do I do
exactly. It was like, I don't know, 3 days a week, I want to drink 15, you know, truly hard seltzers, play golf, and just do that for another 50 years.
Doc, just give me 75. I'll
Yeah,
sign the
that's
papers
fine.
right
That's
now.
fine.
Yeah.
Sign on the dotted line right
Yeah.
now.
Well, boys, I can't thank you enough. This was awesome.
You're the man.
Thank you, Biz.
This was great, man.
You are the man. I got to tell you, my buddies are all just the biggest fans of you in the world. So
Hey.
keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, we'll have to go golfing now that you're in Scottsdale.
I know.
I finally got my pad done there, so
There you
yeah,
go.
we could I could do round
congrats
2.
on the pad.
Yeah,
I saw a little stuff when you were, what was it, your
a little
birthday
wha-
when Grinnell was
Yeah,
there?
I had
and
the butt
everything?
plug in and the cock ring, like Grit said.
All right, Paul
Appreciate it,
Bissonnette.
man.
There
Paul
it is.
Bissonnette.
You're the man.
Chiclets.
Thank you, boys.
Fit Chiclets, go check them out.